You're just another one-hit wonder, that's what everyone sees. Ain't it funny how you wanna be the best, but you can't even get up and get dressed? Wasted, face it, you're never gonna make it. Rockstar, you won't get far, and I know you're confused. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be. Wanna go to outer space, superhero in the streets. Oh man, what a lie, what a time to be alive. How have I survived? Life's a battlefield, 1974.
Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many days got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Now that you're gone, I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, 'cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going out of my mind, and I wish I could lie, tell you that it gets better. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. I can't seem to move. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to.
Again, why does it feel so hard to breathe? Why does it feel so hard to breathe? So hard to breathe. Never found, but these voices bring me to my knees. Again, why do you waste your light on me? it cuts quite like a memory. Especially one that you're trying to forget. But I can't find the energy to rewind and reset. I know you don't wanna be used, but you use me too. You build up to break me down. How does it feel? How does it feel to knock me around? I won't make a sound. I won't make a sound until I hit the ground. I won't make a sound. So don't shoot me down. Alright, we're not broken. We're just getting off the Sometimes I lack the bravery, 'cause I know I fear the end. One day we'll see a victory. Carry on until the sun will set.
Hello and welcome everybody to some NECC Marvel Rivals action. At this point, you know who I am because I've been on for 4 weeks straight, but I'm Shimmy, that's Vaudable, and we're here for some really exciting Division 2 and Division 3 Marvel Rivals action. Vaudable, are you excited for today?
Oh, I'm super excited. I mean, we have basically two rivalries that are going on, one in the South and then one in Colorado, essentially. So we have Kennesaw State Ascend versus NC State, then Colorado Boulder or CU Boulder versus Colorado State. So interstate rivalries, southern rivalries between KSU and NC State. It's going to be a great series of matchups that we have. Two best of fives, and we always know how things go when we're on the cast together, Shivy. Typically, it goes to 5.
Yeah, we might just get 10 games. CB got a taste of that last week. We had 4 games, and then we had 5 games because one of them ended up going to a draw, which was absolutely bonkers. So yeah, they had a taste of what we usually get. So I think I'm part of the juju here, but I do want to get into the rosters because both of these teams are undefeated. Vaudable, dare I say, one team will walk away with a win and one team will walk away with a loss as we get into the names here. Haresh, Vendetta, Spooky Pete 22, Night Miner, I'll say R13, RE maybe, Skulldigger for it's R, Kennesaw State Ascend, and for NC State Red, we've got Blank Asian, OG Slayer 817, Igor Isham,
Igor is him.
Igor is him. Oh my God. Yeah, my English is terrible. No
Shout out
Nephrons.
to the colleges for giving us the names and everything. I'm making you do this the hard way, Shibby. Let me help you on this one. But yeah. You got that one right, Nephrons. No Nephrons. We got Dragon Floss, the Dragon King 7, so 2 different types of dragons. And then I'm Arch, which is really easy. So
yeah,
I
that's
took the
pretty
easy
chill.
One I'm sorry.
Yeah. Good names.
Yeah.
Also, for anyone that is tuning in, or maybe we're used to our old rule set, Now, there will be no round one map ban. Typically, you guys would see, at least for the past 3 weeks and since last season, there would be one map ban. It'll almost always be Celestial Husk. Now, it will just be one random domination map at the beginning, and then I believe it is loser's choice from then on out, which, Vaudable, from my understanding, it mirrors a lot of what we see in most competitive leagues, correct?
Yeah, typically this is what you see, especially in like competitions like MRC. We've been in a lot of the different community tournaments that have been happening recently, and that's what they've been doing there as well, right? It speeds things up a lot if you just do the random domination map and makes it so it's not as one-sided, depending on like seed or however you're determining A and B side for that as well. So I like it. Speeds things up for the start, and then you can strategize afterwards, because it really doesn't do too much for the team who doesn't get to choose the map right. It does a lot more for that team instead.
Ooh.
It's also cool that we're showing off like it this way. Shout out to production. I like that a lot. Hellfire Gala. We were worried, Shivy, that we'd get Celestial Husk since that's typically the most banned one, but we didn't. We got Hellfire Gala. I'm happy.
Yeah, and hopefully, I know I see Royal Palace there. Hopefully we don't get Royal Palace, because that's not a competitive map. It hasn't been for a very long time. So I think both of these teams would be completely thrown off. But they don't got to worry. Like you said, Hellfire Gala. I think one of the best designed domination maps here. Every single sub-map, like you mentioned, kind of tests different compositions. You can run like the Angela Phoenix stuff that we've been seeing. Unfortunately, Elsa is not enabled until, I believe, next week, because there is a 2-week competitive cooldown. But if we do get into Convoy, we have the potential to run into one of my favorite maps, the new ones, the Museum of Contemplation here. As we get into the ban phase, both teams have 3 global bans for each side, therefore totaling 6 bans total. And then they also have 2 saves each, so 4 protects. A lot of, Gambit bans, Loki, stuff like that. But I'm more interested in what they're going to prioritize, because at least the first 2 bans are scripted out.
So surprising to see Gambit banned first. I'll be more surprised if Kennesaw State doesn't ban Gambit as well. But there's been a lot of people actually experimenting without the Gambit bans and more going for bans afterwards, focusing on something else first, so the group makes sense. That way it can't be secured by NC State Red. But this does leave the Gambit up for NC State. So if I was NC State and was going to be securing the Gambit, I'd make sure that I would ban out the Loki instead for the other side, so that way it's one-sided. You can't get a copy at all. It's typically what we do see happen, but they're actually going to focus on securing the Loki. So they're just saying, hey, we don't even have to worry about the Gambit ourselves. We're just going to ban, what we know you're good at, and focus on what we know we're good at. And that's typically what we see in these lower divisions as well, Shivy. So not too surprising there. Focusing on Doctor Strange, I think they're more worried about one-sided portal. And I get that. A lot of people try to prioritize that too. But typically you don't really see Strange bans at this level. So maybe there's a Strange main that's out there. They might like the new team up with Doctor Strange and with Invisible Woman too, with that extra pull in and heal that they get as well. So a couple looks that we could see there. Might see an Invisible Woman ban from NC State potentially.
Yeah, we have been seeing Cloak and Dagger rise in popularity as well, along with the Loki having double purple. We've talked about it so much. There's someone
too.
There's someone that has gotten through the ban phase. From my recent surprise, has been terrorizing GM and below. Moon Knight getting saved here. We've seen how effective a good Moon Knight is, but with NC State, saving that Angela, it might actually reduce a lot of Moon Knight's power.
Ban the Gambit here. That's all I'm saying. Don't give them Gambit for free. I mean, what are we doing?
Well, Gambit's banned, right? These are MRC.
Oh, these are MRC. Okay, that makes so much more sense. I thought this was Ignite bans for a second. I was like tripping out. So yeah, MRC bans. Okay, this makes a lot more sense why they're going with it the way that they are. So no Invisible Woman for the team up with Doctor Strange. They wanted to make sure it was available to them. I get the reasoning for the Wolverine. If you're feeling confident playing that Doctor Strange, you do not want to have to worry about a Wolverine in your face. A Wolverine and an Angela, right? Because Angela's basically flying Wolverine with the kidnaps that they can do with their Assassin's Charge as well. So, and there's a lot of open space specifically on Hell's Heaven, or Krakoa, excuse me, that we have here. So a lot of different options that could happen between these 2 teams, but I like the options from these squads. So curious what it's going to lead to comp-wise from both teams, Shibby. I mean, we saw the Moon Knight save. We saw the Doctor Strange. We'll probably see those from Kennesaw State. And then the Loki, just making sure that they have that copy available to them. A lot of teams really rely on that, especially if they do try to go that triple strategist.
Yeah, I mean, Mantis has been taken away. Gambit, like you mentioned, right? So the triple strat would be some sort of combination of like Loki, Cloak, and maybe potentially an Atom or an Ultron. I also like the Rocket here for Kennesaw State, and NC State Red here are opting in for that Loki, Cloak, and Dagger that we talked about, and Moon Knight being thrown right on top. I love the Angela from Haresh because, like you mentioned, a lot of space, a lot of verticality, allowing them to fly in and be a menace, especially into that Doctor Strange that KSU decided to save.
Yeah, so we see the Dragon being the one that is rocking the Doctor Strange there straight out. They don't have the team up, unfortunately, so a little bit less effective, but hey, a lot of people really like playing Doctor Strange, and hopefully we'll see some buffs in Season 7, so potential for that in the future. But for now, it's going to come down to how these duelists are able to frag out against each other's side, and looks a bit more well-sided for Kennesaw State if they can deal with this Moon Knight. Get rid of them before they can build up that ult charge will be massive, but look at that ult charge. Almost have the Hand of Conchu available to them.
We got 99% out of 100 now. Dragonfloss takes down Night Miner, and they're just going to drop the moon for a Quadra onto NC State Red. No, sorry, a Penta. I didn't let the moon haunt them long enough. KSU get absolutely wiped off the board.
That is not what you want to see, is what I'm saying on this one. I mean, Kennesaw State Ascend, it's a tough spot to find themselves in, right? They were hoping that they had things lined. Actually, wait, the teams are swapped. Kennesaw State is on the right side, NC State is on the left side, because Vendetta, excuse me, is on Kennesaw, I believe. So I think these teams are swapped, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that is correct.
We've been tricked?
We have been tricked. Yeah, NC State is the one on the other side, which makes sense because it was the side of Kennesaw State, I believe, who saved the Moon Knight. Could be different, but either way, we'll talk about those bans a little bit later on. For now, we got the sides corrected, and it was Kennesaw State popping off themselves. Dance party does happen, though, for Dragonfloss. A good kidnap on into the Doctor Strange for a moment. Could not get the conversion that they wanted on that elimination, but the Hand of Conchu is ready to throw it down again. The Fight Club enacted, and Nova's going to be talking about it because they'll be eliminated yet again.
So pretty much every fight now, he's built up his Hand of Conchu there, and Spooky Pete, I mean, we can see why this has just been terrorizing both solo queue and just in competitive play. Moon Knight definitely has his spots, and when you can kind of bounce the Ankh, bounce all the different, ricochet onto the Loki especially, or even onto the Luna Snow, or the double shield tank that is NC State Red. As long as you can find those angles, which is exactly what Spooky Pete is doing here, I'm going to love this if he just gets up behind them and drops it, or if he's going to wait for them to drop down to defend the point here. I mean, it's 85% and ticking right now. NC State Red have to do something.
And the Conchu, though, other direction, it does come out again from Spooky Pete. Do you have some bit of a counter from OG Slayer? At least gets one down. So backline nerfed for Kennesaw State. They're not too worried about it. I mean, they have 99% to work with. They can reset after this team fight. They have a couple ultimates available to them. As I say that, though, there is a Kraken Impact being used by Night Miner. See if they can at least get a pick here and there, but more just using it to position themselves away. So a bit of a waste, I feel like. They didn't really gain any extra stall or time, and might have just misclicked or mistimed it there.
Skulldigger, Turtle Bond available, but NC State Red do have a bevy of ultimates to use. If they play this correctly, they can definitely get it into that 99 point here, overtime potentially, as Igor, Kraken Impact is available. Both Eternal Bonds get matched 1-for-1 here. Carpets getting thrown down for both teams. But NC State Red, Eye of Agamotto available. On top of that, Hand of Conchu. Both of these cloaks are DPSing though, and Arch has copied the Luna Snow, so they're going to be driving and dancing around here. We see that maybe Spooky Pete wants to drop this Hand of Conchu. Kraken Impact actually ends up getting no one here. Spooky Pete gets slammed, but it doesn't matter. Night Miner is able to take down OG Slayer and Blank Asian as well. Kennesaw State are going to flip this point. Does NC State have the TP available? As I say that, Dragon King goes down, so I don't think there's going to be a contest.
Now, it's the problem with playing a dry Doctor Strange, as I like to call it, when you're not swapping into them. You don't have that availability to change over afterwards once you lose a team fight to go for the portal, and that's exactly what we saw there. There was a bit of a stagger. It didn't go down fast enough, and it might have been a better option for them to just charge ahead so they did get eliminated earlier on so they could go for the portal play. But unfortunately, it did not work in their favor that time. So NECC State Red have their work cut out for them here, Shibby, especially because of that Moon Knight from Spooky Pete. Now we're starting to see why it's banned a lot of times in the lower elo.
Yeah, and the great thing about domination, at least for Marvel Rivals, is that you carry your ultimate charge over and your ults over. So Dragon King does have Agamotto, Nephrons has that Moon Knight ultimate. But if you look at the side of Vendetta and company, Haresh and Spooky Pete, Heaven's Retribution on top of the Hand of Khonshu, that is Team Wipe City. I'm sure Spooky Pete is licking his lips knowing that Haresh has that big ultimate to throw down on the backline of NC State.
Really got to see what the strategy is here, though, for NC State. Not really much of a change-up at all on their side composition-wise, so they're just trying to stick with it, see if it's enough. And, you know, that's typically the struggle for a lot of these teams in the lower divisions, is that you might not have as flexible of a hero pool as you would like against the other competitors. So kind of saw State Ascend. They're happy to just play the same game as they were before. We'll see how efficient they can be, but no Nephrons. Going to come down to how they use their ultimate. Kraken Impact is going to come through, and there's a triple coming forward.
Oh,
a quad
my
potential, but it does get stolen by Air as well, or R, excuse me, on that one. So we'll see if they can maybe get a reset here for a second. They could have if they went for it, but they didn't want to face the full might of NC State Red.
Yeah, if they went deep enough, could have been a different story. I mean, they'll take that fight win. Nightminer getting that triple, like you mentioned. Nice pull, forcing the diamond, but he might be in a pretty compromised position. Yeah, a little over-aggressive. I'm unsure why KSU are so willing to contest that space. They could just let NC State walk in and drop the Moon Knight ultimate. That's a big throw from them. Getting over-aggressive when you're not, you know, kind of needed to. As we do see Sonic Seduction come in. R is going to copy the Cloak and Dagger. So an Eternal Bond on the point. Vendetta goes down. This is just a stall, but this is baiting out a lot of resources for NC State. Kraken Impact comes in. Another Sonic Seduction. I mean, NC State Red are throwing everything in the kitchen sink for this, and I don't necessarily agree.
Well, you say that, but the thing is they still held on to 3 of their ultimates. No, Nephrons has had their ultimate the entire time for this second point. They have not used it at all, so I feel like they're being a little bit too hesitant sometimes in using these ultimates. They used a couple of them, which made sense. They were able to get their early pick onto Vendetta when they used their Sonic Seduction, cancel that out completely, but now it's going to come down to, okay, how they play for the late game on this point. They got some percentage. They capped them out at 52, so it's not a full retake as we saw before, but they got a lot of work to be cut out for them. And Heaven's Retribution coming down into the Hand of Khonshu, that is a bread and butter combo, to say the least.
Bread and butter, PB&J, ham and cheese, whatever you want to say. Vaudeville, and now I'm making myself hungry. That's messed up. But I mean, just like 1-2, right? We called it out. We talked about it. They just have to kind of click and point, and Haresh and Spooky Pete not messing up that combo. Very hard to, as long as you are calming. That's a fight win. That was a triple going over to Spooky Pete. He's already at 40% to his next Hand of Khonshu. And Nephrons and Dragon, specifically Dragon King, I have Agamotto, and like you mentioned, Hand of Khonshu have been held on to for 2 rounds now.
Yeah, still not using those ultimates, and I get the hesitancy. You want to go for those setup plays, the massive ones there, and that's a pretty good combo itself. You know, I have Agamotto. If you don't get countered out, you can get those stuns and definitely get those conversions, but you didn't necessarily need to use the Hand of Khonshu. You could have just gone for simple eliminations, doing pure damage to them. So I don't know how true of a combo that was between them, and it didn't work out as well as they would have liked. So Kennesaw State, yes, they do give up the objective a little bit more, but they got that crucial 99%, plenty of wiggle room for them, and still 2 duelist ultimates available to them, and the copy coming through here as well. So they are going to copy the Cloak and Dagger this time for the Eternal Bond. So some good looks here, and we'll see how they use it.
Eternal Bond, like you mentioned, gets popped here along with Dragonflox's ultimate. So Luna versus Cloak. Luna is going to last just as long. Armed and dangerous, though, from KSU. Let's see if they can actually pick up a Elim for the reset. There we go. We've already seen this show once before. Fortunately, does not land on anybody, so he's not going to get the reset, but 2 crucial picks is going to be elite. Just to win the Bucky 1v1, and looks like he's going to get a little bit of help from Vendetta, and Kennesaw State all the time flip that point, and they're just going to take map 1 right under NC State's noses. Just a really good 2 sub-maps from KSU there. Looked completely in control from start to finish.
There was some slippage happening in the midway point, after that 52% was taken by Kennesaw State Ascend and NC State Red. They used 2 of their ultimates to win the team fight, bait out a couple of the strategist ultimates from Kennesaw State, but problem was that they held on to their ultimates too long in general during that second point. We saw No Nephrons have their ultimate for half the game, basically. So it might have been a better option to win the first team fight with it so that you could build that early percentage, right? Typically with domination, I think it's like 80 to 90%, somewhere around there, that if you win that first team fight, you win the map, or at least the sub map, typically. So that was the problem. They were always playing from behind. They weren't timing their ultimates properly. Winning the fights individually sometimes, but Marvel Rivals really comes down to the ultimate game at the end of the day when we typically see this level of competition. Not necessarily the 1v1s where we saw, so much amazing duelist prowess from Spooky Pete specifically. I mean, they had 12 final hits and got that penta, as he talked about, to start things off for their team. And I think if, the side of KSU Ascend keeps things going, they'll be smooth sailing forward and above the rest of the competition. So NC State, they have the work cut out for them. I'm curious what their map pick is going to be for the next one specifically. So a couple different options that they can go for. Maybe domination's not the strong suit too. They seem to be playing more for the long game, and that doesn't work out as well on domination.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if KSU are going to get that Moon Knight again, or if, NC State's like, hey, we just can't give it to him. We're going to lose this combo every time.
Yeah, NC State was the ones who protected it too, is the crazy thing as well. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
interesting decisions made on the bans and protect phase. KSU, it seems like they're a little bit more tuned in to the meta specifically. I think the problem here as well, NCSU Red, is that they focus a bit too much on that Doctor Strange, right? Because they didn't have the portal at the end too. They couldn't go for that last contest, which is so crucial in domination. So a couple of odd choices here and there, but I get playing what you're comfortable with. I respect it. So we'll see if it works in a different game mode.
Yeah, it is only map 1, right? So realistically, both of these teams are 3-0. It's for a reason. I'm sure this is just kind of testing out the waters, figuring out what we need to do, and then adapt and overcome. It is also a domination, which is the most volatile of game modes. The on-paper worst team or the on-paper better team can lose at certain times. Vaudeville, we've been here. How many times have we seen a team lose map 1, lose domination, into winning the rest of the series? Happens so often.
My gosh.
Yeah, happens so often, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, domination really doesn't tell the story of a series at all. So I think that's the big thing here for these teams. So really curious what the strategy is going to be for the next map in terms of the bans and protects. Are we going to see adaptation from this NC State team, or is it going to be just a walk in the park for KSU? I mean, KSU don't got to change much, honestly. I mean, I didn't see anything that necessarily needed some work on their end. Of course, they lost team fights because ultimate usages came out for the other side. So we'll see how it goes here, Shibby.
Yeah, I'm interested. Loser's choice for the map, and I believe they get to go to one of Convergence or Convoy, so it's their map choice, and then obviously the third map is going to be whatever the remaining is of the loser's choice, or of the loser here. So obviously guaranteed 3 maps. It's a best of 5 series here, or first to 3 technically, because you can get a draw on some of these maps, as we are going to get Hall of Dejalia. Love that. That is going to be a Convergence map for us, and I've seen a lot of full holds on here. I've also seen full 3 points. I feel like I never get the in-between. Either a team is able to full hold, or both teams get 3 points, and we go into overtime, and it's just however much, if you have a minute and a half. A lot of Hela, a lot of Namor is popular here. Loki is very popular on this map, which is something that we saw picked up by these squads. So I'm interested to see if they're going to do any hero-specific bans for these maps, because there are just certain maps where, like we said, Hela, Loki, they can just dominate on Hall of Dejalia.
I love Hall of Dejalia. I mean, there's so many people that are really good at that first point as well, right? Making it so that the other team can't do anything to contest them. as you mentioned, Helen Namor very favorited on this map specifically. I saw in chat them saying Spooky Pete, if the Moon Knight's band's pretty good on the Phoenix, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see that come out in some way or another here as well. We saw a little bit of it too on the other side for NCSU. So we'll see the different changes that come out from these two teams. I'm really curious on what the bans are going to be this time, if they change it all. NC State Red continuing with banning the group first. They do not want to see a group at all. And I get it. A lot of people don't like playing against Groot, especially because they have that movable where they cannot be dispossessed from where they are positioned. So very annoying to deal with. We do see, of course, it's always going to be a Gambit ban from Kennesaw State. They're going to lock in the Loki because they feel so confident with it. So good in triple support. Good in double support too, right? We see that all the time for these teams where they run like a Loki Luna or a Loki Cloak and Dagger or a Loki Invisible Woman, just because they can get the copy out whenever they need to have that double strategist ults anytime. So a couple different options they can go for there. I'm curious if they'll lock the Doctor Strange again and not... They're going to be doing the Invisible One this time. I think it would have been a better option if they did the Invisible One last time and just left the Doctor Strange. It probably wasn't going to get banned out.
Yeah, probably not, but I mean, saving it, especially like you said, playing for comfort is important here. NC State Red do have a big decision to make here. Are they going to ban the Moon Knight out, or are they going to let it through? Maybe they'll save it to the last ban. There's a world where KSU are able to save it and terrorize. Instead, they're going to opt into banning out both combos for Moon Knight. I like that, taking the Angela away and the Groot. We're going to have to see if this, Vanguard line can flex a little bit more. I love the Venom. So a lot of Vanguards being banned away here, right? Vanguard, that's a
I got
cool
the
shirt.
Vanguard Marvel Rivals shirt. I got to show it off for a second here. There we go. Shout out to, Marvel Rivals is having some cool merch here as well. They don't have all the Vanguards, but, there's some good ones on there. Hopefully they update it eventually with like a year 2 version or something like that. I hope we get some really cool Vanguards this year. I can't wait to see all the heroes that they release. It's going to be great.
Everybody keeps saying Big Wheel. Everybody wants Big Wheel as a Vanguard.
Big
I don't know.
Wheel would be so funny.
the Big Wheel fan base, although small, very mighty and very vocal
Very
every time
as well.
Yeah, very very, very circular. As we do see, well, I don't mind this Winter Soldier. Yeah, Strange Protect, Winter Soldier being saved for Night Miner. I think he did pretty good. You mentioned, obviously, Spooky Pete having the 12 finals. He ended up with 11 finals on the map there, so doing his part, pulling his weight for sure. It looked flashier for Spooky Pete on the Moon Knight because he got more multi-kills, but it looks like Night Miner was doing some honest blue-collar duelist work, right? Just, hey, I'm going to get a pick here, get a pick there. I'll rack up what I need to do, and I liked when they comboed the Kraken Impact, especially because he was waiting out a lot of the strategist ultimates and then using the Kraken Impact. You can tell that he was very mindful of when he was going to ult and very cognizant, as we do get another Vanguard ban out here. So, Angela, Emma, and Groot, just to make sure that this Doctor Strange can play the video game. Very, very interested to see if KSU have an answer now that this Doctor Strange is relatively unimpeded, other than maybe the Invisible Woman that can force physics you out of your ult.
I'm really curious how this team up's going to be working in favor for the side of NC State Red, right? They lock things down with the new abilities of the Invisible Woman and Doctor Strange, where you can have that kind of like bonus health that's given based on how you're using your Maelstrom magic against your opponents, and it kind of pulls them in as well, right? So might be able to solo a little bit more that time as well, but who knows? Either way, though, seeing how Kennesaw State were so confident before and there was no Moon Knight ban, I'm curious if they'll stick with it. But instead, they're changing it up. Spooky Pete is on that Phoenix like we talked about. Haresh, though, rocking the Thor. I love it.
D tier. D tier hero. D tier Vanguard, apparently. I'm going to be interested to see if Haresh can pilot this. It's another hero that can bully out the Doctor Strange here. So we'll be interested to see if NC State Red, specifically Dragon King, now that they're running this double shield with the Phoenix, this is a very, very competitive, or like something we would see in MRC and MRI, right? Double shield with the Phoenix. Vendetta immediately takes down No Nephrons, though, after the pull. Night Miner doing a good job on those.
Yeah, pretty standard frontline composition here from NC State. We used to see a lot more than we have recently, right? We've seen a bit more off-tank being played more than anything else. So a couple different options that they can go for on that end if it doesn't work out in their favor. But they're liking it for now. They're going down the main street, though. I feel like it might have been a better option for them to flank around instead. That leaves them really wide in the open of this easy lane for these long sight lines of Spooky Pete to get those combustions that they need for the extra explosive damage. And they have all of those already against Igor is him, excuse me, on that end. So we'll see how they use these ultimates, though, in this next team fight. It's about to explode at some point here, Shivy.
Yeah, I heard the copy come in. I'm unsure if something is going to be used. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I was like, R used the copy. I just don't know where he went. Invisible Boundary used a little early. This does give at least Nephron or Dragon King the ability to get a free ultimate off. Maybe even Igor, potentially. A nice pull. Vendetta is going to use the Magneto ult here to potentially dunk onto Igor, who popped that Kraken impact. But Nephron's going to take down Night Miner. That's a big pick. Might allow them to open up. Blank Asian is going to pop the Eternal Bond, and Igor is going to take down Spooky Pete. And it looks like Kennesaw a little late on the Divisible Boundary. I don't think that's actually going to work, and he gets dunked along with the Phoenix ultimate.
Speaking of bread and butter that we saw before, that's another one of those combinations that can delete anything, even through a strategist ultimate, the Ensong Inferno and the Meteor M. So not too surprised to see it come out, but I don't think they necessarily needed it. It was a bit overkill, to say the least there. But good look so far for NC State Red. A bit more confident than we saw before. Just need to win this team fight here, and they will be able to take things down before the portal goes out. But still a hold for the last few moments. Haresh tried to stay on Vendetta as well, but they could not stay alive long enough to keep the point. So did waste a crucial minute or so, and that might be enough at the end of it. But NC State Red, they're not worried too much as they were on Domination.
In Marvel Rivals, time is as valuable as your health, and wasting that extra minute and a half that you mentioned, Vaudable, might be the difference maker for KSU. As now you have NC State has 4 minutes to push it to that second point before they get some more time in their time bank. But this is a particularly difficult one to get across, especially after that first bend when you're stuck in here in this like hallway, not hallway, but like staircase. It's very hard for the pushing team to get an angle because of how many different sight lines and cover lines there are. As I say that, though, OG Slayer is going to take down Vendetta, but Spooky Peak and Night Miner come in with a nice combo. That's a nice little reset off the clone, which should allow Igor to potentially go again here as he chooses. Invisible Boundary does get popped by R. Very nice save from KSU onto their Bucky, so that they can just keep going again and again and again. Night Miner comes in with some big finals to stuff out NC State.
Massive for KSU Ascend to be able to keep things going, at least for now. Stop it in its tracks before it gets to that first checkpoint. He's just really waiting for a kidnap, I think, onto either a strategist, maybe this duelist getting the finish there. Massive KO so that they won't have one of their hit scan numbers, and taking off the entire mid line of NC State Red. That was a massive heads up play here from Kennesaw State Ascend.
I mean, Night Miner just finishing that off is insane, right? Essentially saying, hey, Spooky Pete, once you get somebody low, I will instantly head tap them, and they'll go back to the respawn room. I thought he'd get one and, not be able to get out. They trade 1 for 1 overall. But the fact that he picks up Igor as well as he gets out, I mean, hey, this guy's just different. Doesn't matter what Spooky Pete is on. Night Miner, if he gets his Winter Soldier, which we did see KSU save, as seen on another wacky angle here.
I like the angles. I mean, they're cheeky. It didn't work out that time, but they're having fun with it. And that's what you like to see with Collegiate. You don't have to take it 100% serious until it gets down to those final moments, right, when you're trying to qualify for the playoffs and the championships themselves. And KSU are 3-0 right now. They can have some time, give some more wiggle room to NC State Red, especially after how dominant that first map was. But they got to be careful not to be too presumptuous of their skill against NC State Red, because again, they're creating a lot of space here with the Vanguards walking up making it so that the cart can be escorted as fast as possible, pushing the mission vehicle all the way to its destination for that second checkpoint. Just need a good ultimate here. Might see one come out here from the Dragon King in mere moments.
Mag ult getting fought by OG Slayer, takes down Night Miner. That's a big elim. Skulldigger is going to take the invisible boundary, put it back onto point, and so far, so well. Looks like KSU cannot get any. As I say that, though, Nephrons goes down, along with Igor, and the rest of NC State Red fall to the wayside as KSU, with some nice combinations. Haresh with the God of Thunder comboing that in. Really well played. He God of Thundered out of the Invisible Woman ultimate, so they didn't actually know when to land, which I think is really slick.
Yeah, that's super smart. A lot of good usages of the invisible boundaries, invisibility itself to its namesake, making it so they can't fully tell where some of these ultimates are coming through. No Nephrons is just kind of messing with our heads there for a second, trying to stay in the sky, seeing if they could find the perfect timing to maybe go in for the end and further bubble, so they don't even have to worry about the damage against it. Didn't really get the pick that they wanted, but there is going to be the Kraken impact instead from Night Miner. There comes two from it. Eternal Bond from Blank. Asian here as well. Meteor M the other direction, see if they can take them out. And unfortunately, they did not swap in time to protect themselves. So it will be KSU stopping this in its tracks before they can even get it to that second checkpoint.
Harsh lessons learned for NC State Red there, as not having that fade and not being as decisive, right? They were a little bit better, I would argue, but still being a little bit gun shy on those ultimates. Dragon King had Eye of Agamotto held for a very long time, and you can kind of see 8k damage, 27,000 damage blocked. He's prioritizing shielding and tanking for his team more than he is trying to actually get into the thick of things, right? Finishing off those elims, doing what he needs to do. Having a low damage total as a Vanguard effectively means that you're not building your ultimates fast enough, and that's what's going to happen. I think I saw Haresh and Vendetta get off multiple God of Thunders and Meteor M's versus Dragon King maybe getting off 2 of his Eye of Agamottos.
Yeah, not as many as you would like to see, but I think that's typically what you do see from a Doctor Strange, right? Is that they don't get their ultimates as often as they would like, more focusing on using their shield positioning and seeing if they can also use that to section people off from some of the strategist ultimates if you did have the Luna Snow, right? So different ways that they can do it. I like the matching here with the new costumes as well, just having some fun and being stylish with it on their side for KSU Ascend. But NC State Red, we'll see what if they can stop KSU's reign of terror in this matchup. Otherwise, might be a potential for our first sweep in a while here, Shivy.
Yeah, it would be really awkward having a 3-0 after we just talked about, oh yeah, it'll go to 10 games. We're used to 10-game nights. It is what it is here. But KSU maybe want to go to bed, maybe want to have some dinner on time here, as they are looking to potentially push this 102.54 meters. Let's see if NC State can actually hold them down here. The double shield into the Phoenix isn't working out, as Dragon King is getting turned left and right, not knowing what to block, and unfortunately all the crossfire. Dragon Floss goes down, so that's a big pick, and Vendetta is just walking them down. Night Miner takes a tumble, unfortunately. Or did he die from the map?
Yeah, I think the map, like the fire on the point, actually took out Night Miner. I haven't seen that icon in like forever, so it took me a second to recognize. But yeah, the fire that's on the objective took out Night Miner.
That's the first Vaudable, that's the first time I've seen that.
Yeah.
Ever. That icon. That's you know,
very rare.
Happens to at least Night Miner, as Igor is going to take down Haresh for overextending just a little bit too far, as the rest of his team is going to push that convoy. Igor, Kraken impact available, but every time he's popped it, almost always Vendetta has had a Meteor M waiting. This might be the time to pop it, as he's only at 90%. As I say that, though, Spooky Pete takes down his counterpart, and is just taking a really nice angle on this Phoenix, getting past the shields, playing in cover. I expect Spooky Pete to take that high ground on the top left very, very soon. Visible boundary comes in for both of these teams. Night Miner looking for the reset on the Kraken Impact. Nice fade, dodges out the Meteor Ram this time around. Blank Asian's going to pop that Eternal Bond, and R is going to copy with the Invisible Boundary. Now you've got to be very careful. OG Slayer has the potential to turn this fight around immediately. Unfortunately, does not land onto anybody. Haresh in the back line. Pop that God of Thunder, and here comes the Ensong Inferno. Gets wiped out before it even lands. That would have been a massive multi-kill if it would have taken them out, but it doesn't matter because Night Miner has taken out Dragon King and NC State are on the back. Finally, the card has been making progress the whole time.
Well, that ultimate was nothing last time, but this one is something from No Nephrons. They got Night Miner out of the way. Portal does come through. The first one we've been able to see from this Doctor Strange, so it did work out that they got eliminated earlier on in that team fight. Haresh back on the Thor, trying to see if the God of Thunder can wield lightning and thunder against the competition, but the force physics are keeping them at bay. They can't stay in the air as long as they would like and aren't really having free reign because, well, there is just a minefield ahead of them of damage, and they have to keep within the cover to move forward and eventually go for these kidnaps that they're not giving the room to get. And even with the one that they got there, it's onto the Doctor Strange who has their own shield, so it's not really going to do too much.
Like this. Night Miner already picking up Dragon Floss. He's going to look to the back just to get out. That's a big pick. It doesn't matter. Vendetta and Spooky Pete comboing up with the Phoenix plus Meteor M, picking off NC State Red, but a nice Eternal Bond should allow NC State to at least stall onto this point. Ensong Inferno available. God of Thunder is going to get dropped on top of the Invisible Boundary, so nobody should go down just yet. Meanwhile, Dragon King, Eye of Agamotto in the back pocket. And it looks like despite Kennesaw getting multiple picks, it's not enough. Another Ensong Inferno gets taken out. You've got to bubble it if you're Vendetta because they have been doing a really good job focusing it. R does copy Invisible Boundary. That's big. Dragon King and the rest of NC State do have to wait it out though. Pop the Eye of Agamotto after this goes down. Win the team fight. Night Miner in the meantime has picked up another Kraken Impact and he's going absolutely bonkers. Eye of Agamotto comes in, lands onto the back line, but it's too little, too late. KSU! Night Miner puts the team on his back!
Fortunately, even with that ultimate coming through from No Nephrons, it is not enough to save the day. Stalled for a mere second, but the portal was already used earlier on in that super long team fight. We saw multiple ultimates come back for members of both sides, but Kansas State Ascend were too consistent on getting theirs together. And Night Miner with those unorthodox angles that they went for and somehow dying to the scenery on this map, we're still able to come out on top with 18 final hits. Those Kraken Impacts were legendary from Night Miner, and they could not be stopped. And we really didn't see anyone step up to the plate on the side of NC State Red that they needed to. We saw some good looks here and there, some good fights back and forth, but unfortunately for them, they met their maker in both of these two matches. So now they got to take some time, kind of talk amongst themselves, figure out, okay, this strategy's not working with the Doctor Strange Invisible Woman. Maybe we need to focus on something else that can do more damage, that can focus on this Bucky. I mean, if we ban the Winter Soldier, we'll get rid of Night Miner's top pick, and you can see why they saved it this time, Shibby, so that they could focus on Night Miner, rally behind them to move the point forward and also stop them in their tracks.
18 final hits. That's more than NC State's Reds, both Vanguards and Duelists combined.
Wow.
Right? I mean, that's absolutely bonkers. He's essentially worth 4 here. And yeah, that save, I was a little suspicious about it. I was like, okay, saving the Winter Soldier. Not sure if it was going to get banned out anyways, but I like at least getting one of your Duelists, their prio pick, their favorite pick here, as Spooky Pete did get, targeted or banned out. Very, very interested to see how NC State Red adapts, if they can, because now they get to choose their loser's choice for Convoy map. And I don't know if it's a map thing. I think Night Miner, ability to pop off Spooky Pete. I mean, even the front line for KSU, right? Vendetta had some really good Meteor M's. And, the Thor pick, little suspect, 6 finals, but ultimately did its job. Bullied out Dragon King and OG Slayer and made them play and move them around probably where they wouldn't have liked to be moved around.
Yeah. great looks that we saw from both teams, but unfortunately for NC State, it didn't quite work out in their favor. They still potentially have some changes that can go on here. In the next map, they'll actually have I Am Arch going to be subbing in for Dragon King instead. So we kind of saw, and I was talking about that, Shibby, where Doctor Strange play wasn't quite working as well as they would like it to. So I get the change up here, swapping in a different Vanguard player, seeing if you can go for some different compositions that way. So really curious what they're going to be picking out here as well. But I believe we do have a break here, so we'll be back after this for map number 3.
Welcome back, everybody, to our NECC Marvel Rivals action. I'm still Shibby, that's still Vaudable, and right now, NC State Red are staring down a potential final map here as we go to Vaudable's favorite, Midtown. KSU looking to get out of this 3-0 lickety split. I think would be our first 3-0 together, Vaudable. I don't know if we've ever casted a 3-0. We might have had one. I might have had one, but the fact that it's so uncommon that we actually have to think about it just goes to show, right? How common, how often we're ready for like 10 game series. I usually have my tea here with honey. At least in
collegiate Marvel Rivals, like we typically don't have 3-0s. Like usually we see like 3-1s at the least. 3-2s a lot of times as well, but I mean, based on the way things are going, I would not be surprised if it continues in that fashion. But I do like 2 subs actually coming out for NC State. Which is good that you have multiple members so you can play different compositions. I like it. I wish more pro teams would do the same and actually experiment a bit more with a 7-man or women roster there as well. But they are subbing Snap in for Igor. So Snap in for Igor, and then I am Arch in for the Dragon King. So a couple different change-ups that we'll see here. Composition-wise, I'm sure it's going to make it harder for their opponents to ban, but I think typically we've just been seeing KSU go with what's standard, right, in terms of bans. Last time they focused on the Gambit, the Venom, and the Luna Snow, and then before that it was the Gambit, Venom, and also I think it was Invisible Woman that time as well. Yeah, because that was saved. Actually, no, it wasn't Invisible Woman. We saw Luna's. No, yeah, it was Invisible Woman. That's what it was. Yeah. So.
Yeah. NC State went full 3 Vanguard bans, right? They banned away the Groot, they banned away the Emma and the Angela, essentially saying, hey, we need to make sure our Vanguard line is completely fine. They gave this Doctor Strange everything, pretty much every tool they needed, right? Like, unfortunately, it wasn't enough, right? I mean, if you're getting Thor picked in you and you're still having a tough time.
Like, Strange can't really carry as much. Like, you could carry in ranked, right? If you have a really good Doctor Strange and people aren't used to playing around it, depending on like the elo, but it doesn't work as well at like the top levels of competition where you have these extensive bans that are MRC style, which means if you ban something, it's banned for everyone. So still going to focus on the group because they don't want to play against it at all. I get it. I think Vendetta is a really good group player from what I've heard, if I'm not mistaken, on that one. Banning the Iron Fist, though, that must be for one of the subs. So focusing on that instead does mean a Gambit is available. Do we see it locked in here from Kennesaw State? No, it's the Loki instead. So potential for NC State, though, to lock in the Gambit if they want to.
Oh, please do not give me a Loki Gambit game. I'm tired of hearing how Gambit never folds.
Yeah.
He never folds, guys. I don't know.
Did you know?
The nightmare scenario I've had where Gambit somehow gets let through along with Loki, you either play it or you lose. It's like, that's how unfortunate it is. And both of these teams are playing Gambit chicken. That's exactly what they're doing, right? This is what, other MRC teams tend to do. Sometimes you see it in Ignite as well. One-sided Gambit, like, being available potentially. But this time around, because it's MRC bans, they're just going to wait. And NC State, unfortunately, you are the chicken. You are the chicken. You are not going to be allowing this Gambit to go any further through the draft. But oddly enough, they are saving the Winter Soldier, which I'm sure Nightminer is completely happy about.
Yeah, Nightminer is very happy about that, actually. I feel like if you felt a bit more confident on the Venom, it might have been better to save the Venom because it's been banned every time, right? Like, I don't think we would have seen a ban of that Winter Soldier from KSU. So they're happy to play this game. They're going for the almost exact same, aside from, the Iron Fist, more of a target ban on that one. For KSU, locking in the Angela. Angela's really good on Midtown. There's a couple of different spots you can kidnap people off the edge, especially right on that final staircase to the 3rd checkpoint. It is deadly. So excited to see that come out. We do see the Invisible Woman. I mean, just such a mainstay as well. Really good usage from that too. I mean, Loki, Invis, we've seen that happen so often. Getting rid of the Moon Knight, I think, is very smart here as well, because we saw how effective that was on domination. And especially with some of the chokeholds that you can have on this specific point as well, Shibby. Not having that available is going to be a big boon for NC State Red.
Yeah, not having that combo available as well. The mag ban coming out from KSU. Vendetta was a better mag, by the way. So a lot of Vanguards being removed here, oddly enough. So no Venom, no Magneto, no Groot. Like, that's a lot to be taken out of the picture here. Thor still available for Haresh if he wants to go for that. I believe they will just end up opting in for the Angela, as that's what they were really good on. Yep. A lot of good combos still available, right? You can go Angela plus the Kraken Impact or the Winter Soldier. You can go Angela plus Daredevil, right? Which is like a really cool dive composition that we've seen played in the highest of levels. No dive has been played yet, but that might change with NC State Red. Specifically, that Iron Fist ban being removed indicates to me that he might be a melee DPS player.
We'll have to see. We see Snap Hacks playing the Bucky. So I believe Snap was probably the one that was going to be playing the Iron Fist instead. So they actually locked in the Winter Soldier so that they could have something to play still. I'm assuming those are like their two mains. And, you know, that's the problem when you aren't as flexible as a roster or player individually, especially in a game like Marvel Rivals. Like, you need more than a couple at this point of heroes that you can play and are good with, depending on the compositions, depending on how the meta shifts, right, from season to season. Winter Soldier's always kind of good, though, so it makes sense to have somebody who is good at them. I don't think we've ever in the life of, since Bucky has released, seen them nerfed in much of a capacity at all, so fan favorite maybe of the devs in some way there. But yes, Kennesaw State Ascend. All eyes on them to see how they will counter NC State Red, and Arch is actually going to be the one to pick up the mantle of the Sorcerer Supreme here and see if that'll be enough to carry them forward.
I like how he's been playing cover, right? His shield goes down, hides behind the point, making sure that he's not in a kidnappable position as well. I also love that Dragon Floss and NC State Red opted in to save the Invisible Woman. Kind of necessary into an Angela. You have that pull available. If you ever see your Doctor Strange getting yanked into the enemy team, you can immediately pull them down, ground them with that orb there. So NC State doing a good job. No casualties have been taken by either squad just yet, as we see a couple ultimates build out. Night Miner specifically, Kraken Impact available, but that'll be matched probably by Blank Asian. As I say that, though, never mind. Invisible Boundary going to be used a little bit preemptively. And that copy was late from R. That Invisible Boundary does come down, but KSU might have to give up some space here.
Tough spot to be in for R on that play as well. I mean, you wanted that to go out a bit earlier so that you had a better spot, but there's still so many ultimates available for KSU, right? We see Night Miner having their Spooky Pete going for the Unsung Inferno, and nobody was focusing on it at all, so that allowed them to just clear the field completely. Night Miner going for the Kraken Impact. They get the reset. Can't get the last one, though. They'll have enough time to get back to spawn, but they did what they needed to, right? Won the team fight. Used a couple of their ultimates. Still have one in the bank, too, for Vendetta on the Emma. So Psionic Seduction available. You can shut down a couple of different plays from NC State Red, but they have the ultimate economy 4 available to them. None of the strategist ults, but they don't quite need it if they can use their Duelist and Vanguard ultimates properly in this next fight.
Agamotto potentially really big here. A lot of ways to cancel it, though. NC State have to be pretty cognizant of that. OG Slayer, Psionic Seduction, like you mentioned, is available, but has been taking a lot of poke and chip damage. He's going to opt in to just create some space. Everywhere. I like that. A lot of ultimates being levied here. Ensong Inferno plus the Kraken Impact. But so far, only Vendetta has gone down. 3 ultimates for 1 body. I don't think that's a beneficial trade.
That was a huge kite, though, from Kennesaw State. They kept themselves positioned in such a way that you couldn't see Snap Hacks go in for the Kraken Impact onto the majority of them. So instead, focused on the lone member who was sectioned away from the rest of their team. So unfortunately, it wasn't enough. They did use their own team up, the Force Physics themselves, from the Dark Magic to try and pull them in, but couldn't get the elimination for the Doctor Strange here. So, fortunately, the team up not working out as well as they would like, but still holding on to the side of Agamotto. I think they're a bit too hesitant because of the amount of options that can cancel it out. They want to go for one big hit from it, but the more you hold on to it, the more chances that you are giving your opponents to build up their ultimates that can counter yours.
Arch is going to take down Haresh. Nice push coming out from Skull Digger there. R is going to copy the Invisible Boundary. Look to drop it onto... As I say that, no. Internal Bond was actually copied. Layered on top with the Eye of Agamotto from Vendetta. Oh, huge Kraken Impact. But unfortunately, none of that is going to get any elims. As Snaphack says, I actually have one a little bit better. Heaven's Retribution on top of the Ensong Inferno is actually going to end up with Haresh getting 3 for himself. That's the other combo that we didn't mention. Angela and Phoenix. Ensong Inferno plus Heaven's Retribution is just a bread and butter. And they're not even allowed to get out of the point or out of the respawn room to get their TP off. Beautiful combo from KSU, and whew, 122 meters is virtually nothing.
That's the first time I've seen that combo go in such a way that Angela gets all the credit for the eliminations too.
That is true,
so
yeah. That was
very
weird.
interesting way that worked out, but still good for KSU to keep things going in their favor. I mean, talking about, power rankings that are out there, this team has been one to rise through the ranks time and time again. So Kennesaw State Ascend got to keep their eye out as they go through the competitions in NECC and other leagues out there. They're trying to make sure everyone knows that they are a force to be reckoned with. And with the synergies we see through their comps and their individual plays, you can see exactly why they are a threat for some of those top dogs out there. I mean, wouldn't be surprised if maybe next semester we see them ascend themselves into potential Div 1 promotion if they do well enough throughout the rest of their division. But they got a long way to go, right? There's a couple different divisions in Division 2 to even move forward from. And then after that, they have to win the playoffs and then the championships that'll be happening in, I believe it is May. So a lot to look forward to for these teams. But, this is one more tick for the win category if they can get to that final checkpoint that they need. Not much meterage needing to be crossed here for KSU to get their victory in a 3-0 sweep.
3-0 sweep. Spooky Pete on the Phoenix. Nightminer on the Winter Soldier. They just got to win a couple fights here. 122 meters. Nothing really, right? Not even. It's like the second bend and then a little bit extra. We did see NC State struggle on this part. Let's see if they're willing to play as far forward. Not opting for the triple Vanguard, triple strategist, hard hold composition that we sometimes see from the higher levels. But so far, Kennesaw State, Spooky Pete does get aggressed on as Haresh takes down Dragonfloss, who has just been the first one to go down in a lot of these engagements, unfortunately for NC State Red. And KSU, that's a big team fight win. I'm gonna suspect that NC is going to TP. Yeah, that has to happen.
Yeah, we're probably going to see a teleport come through. I mean, it needs to if they want to even make it onto the objective, and that's what we're seeing happening here. Resh trying to see if they can counter it, but unfortunately they could not get there in time, so instead they'll just be able to focus someone on the back line, and unfortunately for snapbacks, they will go down. Immediately, OG Slayer does get at least a trade onto Resh, the Nightminer one on to the back line to stop NC State Red in their tracks. Without anyone to keep them alive, it won't be enough to stay on the objective, and already another team fight win for Kennesaw State, especially with Nightminer just taking out the pieces and taking out the trash again and again and again, and nobody can stop them for now. And maybe one last touch potential to come out from the Doctor Strange if they can even get there in time. No, they cannot. They are getting bullied before the checkpoints, and they can't touch it the last second. They were so close there, Shippy, but it will be a 3-0 victory for Kennesaw State Ascend as they rise amongst the competition and prove themselves worthy of a top spot potentially in those playoffs. And this is Division 2, so there's a lot more tough competitors amongst themselves that they have to face off against, but they are looking like top dogs in their specific Eastern B division. Zero
Deaths, by the way, from Nightminer. KSU Ascend are going to take the 3-0, 16-0, and 4.
And R
8
as well.
finals.
It's Gold Digger.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, NC State Red just having a lot of trouble getting those elims, finalizing a lot of those KOs. And KSU will move on to that 4-0 flawless record. As for a lot of people, NC State Red, that's their first loss. They're 3-1, so they've breezed through their division so far. Both of these 3-0 teams beating up. Maybe we were hoping for a potential 5-game banger, 2 undefeated teams. Surely we were in store for a battle between these two teams. But KSU just coming out on top, maybe putting NC State Red on some fraud alert, potentially.
The only other team that's undefeated right now in their specific group is UPRM Green, who is facing off against Lake Sumter Green as well tonight. So potentially see if KSU, after this victory, are the only one remaining undefeated, but it's a 3-0 team versus an 0-3 team. So probably still competing with them for that top spot in Division 2 East B stage. So very likely that they're going to be making the playoffs based on their record so far, Shibby, especially on how we saw them compete so far. But there's a lot of tough competitors in Division 2. I mean, we saw some great teams in the previous weeks, right, to note a couple of them. But KSU looked to be far and above the rest of the competition, at least for now, if this was the other undefeated team aside from UPRM Green.
Yeah, beautiful play from both of these squads. KSU, though, coming out on top in a dominant fashion. And with that win, Vaudeville, that means that we are going to a bit of an extended break. I believe we have about an hour, right? So 7
play a
7
couple ranked
PST.
matches while you're waiting.
I don't think I will subject myself to that torture. But you guys could go and play some quick play, some Doom match, 18v18, whatever competitive. But other than that, we are going to be back in about 1 hour, bit of an extended break as we come back with some more NECC Marvel Rivals action. So in this case, go wherever you need to go. You guys have an hour. We'll see you soon.
You have habits just like me. Talk too much with strangers. Get way too serious around family. And I don't have any wishes, but when I kiss you, our lips fit well. And I don't have expectations, but when I daydream, I fall asleep, and our hands melt. It started out as teasing, but I had deeper meaning when I touched your chest. Now I don't know how to act, but if I did, Go on myself. I'm cold steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said don't suffer no fools. Serpents daydream. I bite, you call me lovely. Got a sweet tooth. I'm gonna get the sugar from you. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. Come cold blood, selfish. Your words are painless. I like when I drive and feel so dangerous. They say I'm a red flag, 'cause they want it so bad. You should know I'm holding on to what I have. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. I used to view you as a mountain that I couldn't climb at first. But I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst.
And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? And you know I'm feeling good like that, so what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do? I've been in the good times already. You can see it
Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I'll save Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself.
Colder when you're frozen over like I am. gets colder, colder when I'm older, older than I am. And I know you know that I have lost composure, but I'll hold you closer while I can. I never told you that I'm slightly broken, that I might lose focus when I am. I know you know that life gets colder, colder when you're frozen over like I am.
perfect visions, like I've been here before. Falling faster, I try to ignore. I see you, I see you. I'll let you drag me to hell if you hold my hand.
Welcome back, everybody, to some NECC Marvel Rivals action. Did tell you guys there's going to be a bit of a long break, but that hour went by pretty fast. I'm still Shibby, that's still Vaudable, and we've got a heated rivalry for our final series of the day here, Vaudable. Oh, no, yeah, not that one.
This is Marvel Rivals, and this is a rivalry that you've seen many a times in collegiate esports and just collegiate sports in general. It is CU Boulder Gold versus the CSU Rams facing off against each other. As you can see below us, two top competitors in their respective division, both 3-0, two undefeated teams we saw last time. But 3-0, we saw that in the name before, and it was a 3-0 series sweep. Are we going to see that again here, Shibby, or is it going to be a finally faded map 5 that we've been waiting for?
Who knows? But I do know the rosters of these teams here. For CU Gold, we got Hey, I'm Des, Etley, Pippa Squeaks 4, True GT, Not Medium, and Hyper OG. On the side of Colorado State Esports, we've got Man Person Guy, Alec, Shmoney Schmoves, Erethal, Endemic, and Yoshi Cry. Man Person Guy and Shmoney Schmoves are my two favorite. Like, they win the name contest. That's a tie for me. Vaudable, do you have a favorite here? That's hilarious.
Man Person Guy is probably the best one.
I'm going to have fun saying his name during cast, that's for sure.
Great names across the board. That's what we always love to see here in collegiate Marvel Rivals. We'll always, we won't pick a favorite, but we'll have one that we like a lot on this as well. And Hellfire Gala continues to be what the randomizer chooses. The Marvel Rivals gods have blessed us yet again with some Krakoa. And we saw how it went last time, Shibby. Hopefully for both these teams, it doesn't go that way, so that's a bit more competitive. Maybe one of them wants it to go that way so that they can just sweep the competition. But this being such a rivalry as it is, both teams are going to give it their all. We'll probably see some Gambit bans. We'll probably see some maybe Loki bans finally, unless they all want to play Loki again. We saw that happen last time where Loki got through every single time because Kennesaw State wanted it to be available. I feel like it might have been a better first ban instead of group. I don't know. I just work here. Either way, though, CSU Rams, I said Groot's going to get banned again. People do not like playing against Groot, and I get it. But Groot's just so fun to play. Like, come on, let him
That's all the Groot players. That's what they say. Groot's fun to play, guys. Everybody else has to play against Groot.
As I wear my Vanguard shirt? Yeah, definitely not.
As I have to shoot these walls down, I have to
there.
everything.
There he is. No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
There he is right there.
Yeah, he's up there. He's up top right. There is a thing being saved here. Oh, I'm already loving the Rams strategy here. And there's the Gambit save. Now, are we going to get Loki ban on top of this? Or will I be hearing Gambit never folding 4 times in a row?
Question. Can we see it happen? Will there be a Loki ban finally? Cloak and Dagger instead, so it's all the way on the Colorado CU Gold. Specifically, is that team that is hidden in darkness on the other side. Magic ban coming out here. Haven't seen one of those in quite some time, so you definitely know that there's some dive potential from the CSU Rams based on what has been banned so far. They don't like to see a Star-Lord. They don't like to see a Magic. They're focusing on that duelist lineup for a reason. Magneto makes sense. Mag's just such a synonymous main tank that we've seen here time and time again in the echelon of Marvel Rivals. So not too surprised on that one. CSU Rams, I mean, we've seen some unorthodox from them so far, and they are going to lock in what is orthodox, the Loki Gambit. We're getting double Gambit here, Shibby. I'm curious if we'll get triple support or if it is just going to be just double Gambit instead. Will we see the Mantis? No, we're not seeing the Mantis. Okay. Don't have to worry about that.
Question has been answered. As soon as the question came up, immediately answered here. Iron Fist being removed as well. That's a big thing counter. Yeah. I like this. I wonder what Vanguard line the Rams are gonna run. Surely it's not Magneto Thing. And Thing is actually a really good protect here. It's been a pick that has been rising in popularity as one of the two, characters, or 3, I will say, characters in the game that can apply vulnerability, those being Black Widow and Cloak and Dagger being the other 2. Black Widow, obviously, horrible hero in their own right, but also their vulnerability is tied to their ultimate. Whereas with Cloak and Dagger, they have Terror Cape that obviously you have seen. You can just throw out the purple square and it makes them vulnerable, blinds them. But Thing can provide AoE vulnerability, and it's very, very disgusting. The damage amp is disgusting. And we get to see a Storm. Maybe they might be trolling. We are just in the offensive gates at the moment, but yeah, I mean, you have to run Gambit Loki, so unfortunately the strategists for both teams are not going to be happy. And it looks like the Rams as well will be running Magneto and Thing. I don't love the fact that Des is running this Daredevil, knowing that the Thing has been protected, because that has been a prototypical counter here. I'm interested to see how this Storm matches up against Etley, though, on the Phoenix, because Storm got a couple changes that have made her way more brawl-focused, I would say.
Yeah, a lot more opportunity for her to kind of maneuver in and out a little bit more. The damage fall off also a little bit better from there as well. Can do more damage, build up her ultimate a lot faster as well. And there's like a 2-second fall off from the AoE once you leave it for the damage boost. So I think that's pretty effective. And I think they increased the AoE as well. So a lot of good buffs and changes and like a bit of a rework that happened there. Yoshi Crab though could be renamed to Spider Crab, or Yoshi Spider maybe, or Spider Crab could be on this instead.
There might be a Spider
See if
Crab.
they get any
There might be a
picks
Spider
as well. Yeah, this is a Spider Pig, so you'd think there'd be a Spider Crab.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? I mean, we've seen so many different variants of Spider-Man. I wouldn't even be surprised if Spider Crab exists in some one-off comic line. But other than there you go. Let me know. Yoshi Crab, though, being a menace on the Spider-Man. You can tell this is a hero that he's practiced, has a lot of the bread and butter combos down. The Spider Tracer into the down slam up into the uppercut. I love watching Spider-Mans go to work here. Alec has picked up, although the Thing here on CU Gold side. So the Rams running a disgusting composition as clobbering time comes in, only lands onto Hyper OG, so it's not going to result in anything yet. Pipsqueak does go down though, and Man-Person Guy has been just absolutely lethal with these primaries from Magneto. The Mag Cannon combo, the left click, right click, left click, can do a crap ton of damage.
Yeah, no, this is great to see how the damage is coming out here as well from the CSU Rams. And based on the protects that we saw before, I'm assuming that the names were swapped earlier on when it came to the bans to protect. So it was the Magneto and the Thing that was saved for the CSU Rams instead of the CU Gold side. So seeing how they were the ones who came out with this competition worked out pretty well for them. That was a great snipe onto Yoshi Crab from Etley. So not going to stay swinging in at the skies for too long, but there's actually a Spider Crab. It's a Japanese Spider Crab. It's really long arms, mind you, just in general in nature. But there's a Spider Crab mobile that can fly, apparently, which is interesting, as a toy. So I don't know if it's in any of the Marvel universes out there, but what is out here is a spectacular spin, and it goes through, gets a double, or a triple, actually. Almost went off the map, but Trigi T does get just messed with there.
Yeah, maybe not wanting to give it. Maybe Yoshi Crab can stop it. Nice protection. The bodyguard from CU Gold has allowed them to at least get one more contest, but they're kind of stuck in the portal. Door stuck, guys. Portal stuck here as finally CU Gold are able to come back in. Here comes the Armed and Dangerous. Man-Person Guy immediately coming in with the Meteor Ram. Lands onto multiple members, and like you said, denies the reset on the locals because Meteor M is going to eat every single projectile. CSU Rams absolutely on point here. Beautiful play from them. I like this wacky comp that they got going, man.
It reminds me of YWL a little bit. They don't have Heart Lover, of course, with the Hulk play, but that's okay. We have the Thing for Endemic, and I like that as well. And Storm, I mean, doing well in their own right. The damage boost is doing a good job, too. You can see why they have so many assists because of that. And just like the piercing damage they can do as well. The speed to get to the objective, too, cannot be understated. A lot of people like the portal for that reason. We saw a bit of a flex over to that for a second for CU Gold. They might have gone for it, but I think they were just swapping back since they did change to it to try and get a last-second portal. But unfortunately, that portal did not work out in their favor, even if it did get protected at the last moment. I felt like they had a bit too much tunnel vision in that last fight. So tried to get the reset on the Loki clones. The Meteor M came through, and then they just had nothing really to protect themselves. So CSU Rams, cool, calm, and collected, focused in on one single objective, which is victory. And we'll see if they can grasp it. One more capture point to win for them to take domination in their favor.
Yeah, and that kind of passive damage boost just allows you to confirm a lot of those eliminations a lot easier, especially if you're Yoshi Crab on the Spider-Man. Increasing, right, the ability to do more damage decreases the time to kill, which allows him to get those combos off more. And here comes the Omega Hurricane, and there's no counter to this. Unfortunately, when you run Loki Gambit, these big AoE ultimates can be the doom of you, but it looks like they've been able to dodge this one out very well. As I say that, though, Shmoney Shmoves with the Shmoney Shmoves double here, and it looks like the CSU Rams are going to come away with the point victory.
Looking really solid. I'm loving the synergy from this team. The problem here as well, though, Shibby, is that nobody is targeting this Storm, who is just free-flying in the air. You need to focus them down so that damage boost isn't available for the rest of the members of CSU Rams, because it's building their ult charge that much faster, giving them so much more damage to win these team fights individually.
Oh!
Moments might be enough, and almost wasn't enough for that KO off the edge, but they do get the pull, the kidnap off the side. Yoshi Crab doing what Spider-Man players do best.
He's going to go for it again? Okay, no, he's just going to go for the raw uppercut. And yeah, when you said they're YWL, I saw shades of Jitward in this guy right now, because he's kind of going in, dodging and weaving, and a nice pull onto the Emma, forcing that diamond form to have to get out. Gambit will never fold here, and it looks like the Heartbreaker is also going to be popped on top of the sign of seduction. A lot of damage, a lot of AoE kick damage specifically, which pairs up so well with the Raging Royal Flush. And CU Gold doing a composition that has been popping up in high-level scrims repeatedly. Triple Vanguard, but one of those Vanguards being either Thor or Rogue, and essentially playing them as a big fat duelist.
I like him. I like playing him that way. I mean, it's so much fun just to get in their face and just have a ton of HP that you don't have to really worry about on that end, and you can just go ham with it. And if people don't focus you, then you're just having a good time. The rest of them are not. So unfortunately, that's a bad time for the CSU Rams, as one of them does go down, and Spectacular Spin does nothing from Yoshi Crab this time. So maybe not the best timing to go in for it. Irithel seeing what they can do to time their Omega Hurricane as well. They get taken out. Finally, they're figuring out the target acquisition, focusing on the weakest members of CSU Rams in tandem and building up that percentage on the point. Might see a kidnap come here in mere moments, and there it goes. Magneto down.
I mean, and he can just keep doing this, right, for as long as he wants. He can keep fishing for these. With their main Vanguard going down, CU Gold have to be on the back pedal. And unfortunately, the down slam is going to go on to Pipsqueak. Omega Hurricane ready and available. I don't think CU Gold are going to be able to get out of this one. As I say that, though, he's chasing down the Gambit, and Irithel confirming that KO. CSU Rams just kind of have to wait for Yoshi Crab to get that pick, to get that, you know, pull off the map, which he's done twice now. Is it going to warrant a ban here from Colorado Gold here if CSU Rams win?
You know, it's the bigger question here, Chibi. Which is the better sandwich that these players like on CSU Rams? Man-person guy likes a knuckle sandwich. That's their favorite. Alec likes an ice cream sandwich. What's your favorite sandwich?
Ooh, wow, man. Vaudeville, you just opened up a can of worms. I'm a big sandwich guy. I love all sandwiches. We can get into it later, though, as it looks like the CSU Rams are looking to sandwich CU Gold in between themselves and Yoshi Crab as a Spectacular Spin comes in. Unfortunately, once again, like you mentioned, not that good, as the Heartbreaker coming out from Italy is going to pick it up. But Endemic off of the back of the clobbering dive is going to pick up the pieces, and a lone Gambit stands in the way of the CSU Rams and their map 1 victory.
Ooh, might have been able to see the Rogue get a touch at the end there too, but Etley couldn't get to the point in time, and there will be no portal coming through either, just based on the way that the stagger works. So Carousel and the Grow for Krakoa does go in CSU Rams' favor. CU Gold, unfortunately, we will see you 0-1 to start off this series. Similar to how things went last time. A little bit more of a fight back in that second objective, but it was not enough. You can't let them have Loki Gambit. That's all I gotta say. You can't let that be on the table in this economy, in this meta with Marvel Rivals, and you can see exactly why. I mean, didn't really need to do too much healing. We saw a lot more from CU Gold, but what they did was just have so much momentum from it. And then the Spider-Man kidnaps. I mean, I want to target Spider-Man specifically on the ban and protects. I'd do that if I was getting kidnapped as much as they were. There's a couple different things that they can focus on. Also depends on the map, right? They have their map pick this go around, so I'm curious if they'll go on one that's not as favored for Spider-Man, specifically for Convergence or Convoy, depending on how things go. So a couple different options that they can go for. Sugar, I mean, which map would you choose if you wanted to counter this composition that we saw from CSU?
Convergence or Convoy. I mean, you could opt in for potentially Hall of the Jolly. I think that allows you to at least play some of these hit scans, allows you to get onto those positions. Namor is also a very good pick here.
I'm surprised we didn't see Namor at all.
Yeah, I mean, potentially this is something that CU Gold is going to bust out there. It's tough. I don't know if any specific map necessarily counters the Rams' composition. Also, this is the first look we've seen at them. Who knows what they've got up their sleeve, right? Like, obviously, Yoshi Crab, very good Spider-Man. Maybe they play a little bit more. We'll see. What I've tend to notice from at least players that are in like the Grandmaster Celestial rank, which is what we saw from both of these teams. Spider-Man players tend to only play Spider-Man. Like, that's like really all they play. It's hard for them to dabble. Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah. Like, and the Daredevil, was available initially. So maybe we'll see Yoshi Crab on some other stuff. But it is a very tough choice for the Rams, for CU Boulder specifically, because if they choose a map with a lot of verticality, did they let the Loki through? I felt like the strategist ultimates were fine, like they were okay. It's just, CSU had the counters, and they're gonna go Midtown. Okay. This is fine. Not a super ton of verticality. Spider-Man doesn't have a lot to play with on that second point specifically, where it's in the tunnel. I don't hate this map. Yeah, I don't really hate this map.
Want to know how many matches that have been played for Yoshi Crab on Spider-Man in all time? 1,332.
You even let me guess. I was gonna guess 1,000.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm like, gonna be close.
You're good. I'm not surprised. So can you tell me? Just humor me, Vaudable. What is their second most picked all time in competitive, and how many matches do they have on?
Okay, competitive. That's a good thing. So competitive, it's only 409 for Spider-Man. Second most is Bruce Banner, 136 there specifically, and then Jeff the Landshark, 131. So can play all roles. Wolverine also 62, 61 for Magic. So like anything, just flexing, whenever Spider-Man's banned, typically how it goes. But like as you said, typically a Spider-Man player just plays Spider-Man, and banning Spider-Man definitely nerfs Yoshi Crab a lot. So if you don't ban it, you kind of leave it open. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Spider-Man save, even with this map not being as heavily favored, right? But there could be some other options. Maybe they're baiting out the Spider-Man ban here, right? And that leaves them open for some other options for the rest of their players, because I don't think necessarily Spider-Man was the reason they won, but it definitely helped.
Oh, yeah. I mean, getting a free pick with the poll and wasting more time is disgusting. You're not going to get as many opportunities on this map. It's only on, I believe, 0.3 where you can take people off the edge here. But I could easily see Yoshi Crab being, they banned my Spider-Man. We still have Storm available. I'm going to play Jeff the Landshark, and they have nothing for Jeff Nato. Yeah, or Moon Knight, play something like that. Yeah. A lot of different choices here. Again,
they haven't really we talked about it. So I don't think we'll see it, actually.
We talked about it last series. We have very often seen one team take the domination map, take it very convincingly, and then go on to lose the series. This could easily be one of those situations. Oh, you don't have the Thor mug this time around. I'm kind of sad.
It's T. So I can't put the T in. I still have it. It's right here. I just didn't fill it up. Jesus. I could blush someone with that. That's my weapon.
Yeah, that's a weapon. What's your ult? You take a sip? Drunken rage, bro? Like you just...
I like boost myself with like tea and honey.
and you shout at them.
Exactly.
Like, that's
There
your
we go.
ultimate.
See, put me in the game, Netties. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, most casters want to be an announcer in the game. No, Vaudable wants to be literally in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah,
but
put me as a Vanguard. I'm a little chubby, so you know, my hitbox
well,
will
you're
be a
tall.
bit bigger.
You're super tall. Fun fact.
Exactly.
Vaudable's like over 6 feet. If you haven't figured that out, a funnier fact: I'm under 5'6", so that's even crazier. Yeah, I know. Wild. I love my producer
What
piping
role
in
would
my
you be
ear.
if you were in the game, Shivy? That's what I want to know.
I'm already in the game. I'm Rocket Raccoon. What do you mean? I'm literally already in the game, guys. I'm literally his height.
go.
No. Also, chicken parm. It's not my favorite, but I love chicken parm sandwiches. That
I thought you were just saying it generally, just like chicken parm.
call
That'd
back.
be your
call
ultimate.
back.
That'd be the name of your ultimate chicken parm.
Just consume a giant chicken parm, throw it at people. Oh. Anyways,
That's how you heal everyone. You just throw chicken parm
strategist.
sandwiches at them.
Hey, wouldn't be the first time in a video game that a character heals somebody by throwing sandwiches. If you know, you know. Ancient callback. You got to be old enough. Showing my age a little bit, but yeah, I'm interested to see if the Rams actually ban this Spider-Man out. Does Yoshi Crab's efficiency go down a lot? Do they have an answer to the storm? I feel like we were getting a lot of good Omega Hurricanes.
We did,
you know,
yeah.
like even if they weren't getting multi
Storm
KOs.
is really good on this map, by the way.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
would
a lot
be
of
shocked if they
hallways.
don't ban Storm, actually, now that I think about that.
Yeah, a lot of narrow hallways, piercing, by the way, primaries, which allows them to obviously get their ult faster. Yeah, the storm changes were phenomenal, by the way.
like 'em.
Right? Like you talked about it. You know,
They did
Wind
nerf like, the
Blade.
damage boost, but that seemed to be the only reason why people were playing her. And because Moon Knight's
Yeah.
become more prevalent too, I think they had to, right? We've seen Moon Knight like banned so much more often, even in pro play, because of like the effectiveness it has against that triple strategist. So CSU Rams, of course, going with that ban. I think they're just targeting Yoshi Crab, banning all of the things that he likes to flex to, which makes much more sense looking at who they targeted, right? Star-Lord, really good in its own right. Magic as well, so you can flank around and do some damage into the back line. And then I think last time we also saw the Iron Fist too. I've seen a lot of Spider-Man players play Iron Fist as well, so not too surprised in that.
Groot still staying banned here. I do
Triple,
like
triple?
this.
We're gonna get triple.
They did do better when they were on that triple Vanguard solo duelist kind of action for CU Gold. Heartbreaker was getting a lot of eliminations. The fact that both of these teams have been kind of letting Gambit through the pick and ban phase, playing Gambit chicken as I like to call it, very interesting. CSU Rams did have the better thing. Like
They
the
did.
clobbering times plus the vulnerabilities were so much better than initially thought after, and unfortunately CU Gold are not going to get their magic. That's a lot of respect. The fact that the Rams are willing to save thing and still ban magic out means that CU Gold obviously has that killer magic player. And there's that storm ban, Vaudable. Your crystal ball working overtime, man.
I kind of know a thing or two is all I'm saying on that. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
Storm is really good on this map, especially like as you were talking about the Jeff NATO specifically, using that to huge effect, especially breaking those spawn holds as well. And CU Gold playing on defense, I kind of get the look that they're going for. They might go for the Hella Namor, potentially, to protect their backline there specifically here. We see the same exact looks here from CSU Rams. I got them mixed up because they were mixed up last time and who they were focusing on specifically there. But yeah, I think it's next week, right, that we see Elsa Bloodstone, not this one. I thought it was available this
next
week,
week.
though.
No. It's next week.
Next
It's
week?
next
Okay.
week. I believe it's next week.
Okay.
It's a 2-week competitive ban on it. Or, like, not ban, but, like,
You
before
can't
it's
play it
allowed
specifically
into...
in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loki
Yeah,
ban,
so the
though,
week
there
that
we go.
Elsa came out, yeah, there's
No
Loki ban.
double
Gambit's
Gambit.
still available. No double Gambit. Maybe we'll see Gambit Cloak. That's kind of been the more popular one. Although I do want to see some of these teams take advantage of the Gambit, Magneto, Rogue kind of team up that we have. The game essentially tells you how to play it sometimes.
Yeah.
When you have that team up
It's really
available,
good.
I mean, Rogue shoots up from being like what a B tier maybe tank to about A tier, even S tier sometimes.
She,
If you
like,
have that
has
team
those
up
healing
available.
bursts, right, for the team up
Yeah.
from that too. And then there's like the giant sword that Magneto gets as well. So a lot of great options for that too. Using the wedding skin as well here for Etley on the Rogue.
Beautiful.
Ooh. Hey, I'm Des rocking the Punisher here. I like the change up on that one. Yoshi Crab, Wolverine, it is. I mean, even if there is a thing on the other side, Wolverine just still does so much damage
Wolverine Phoenix.
against the other squad, especially, yeah, with that team up with Phoenix. Unstoppable, unkillable, sometimes it feels like.
Yeah, especially because of that like lifesteal team up that you get. And we are going to see the Gambit cloak here. Purple is going to be very valuable, especially in the thing. Because if Endemic plays very, loose, he plays very risky. The moment that Purple comes out, I mean, Des is going to shred that guy into a million pieces here. But like you mentioned, triple Vanguard composition being played. Etley, though, already goes down. Endemic gives him a 1-2 buckle my shoe as he's just haymakering the back line.
Doesn't even give them time to tie their shoelaces out of the spawn room. Instead, they just trip all over themselves and fall back into the spawn again after the timer goes down. Yoshi Crab loving the fastball special combination with Endemic. Seeing if they can get a kidnap off of that too. I'm actually shocked we're not seeing a little bit of Rocket Raccoon play there as well, so that you can use that jetpack for an even better kidnap as well. Going to be a little bit easier for the Punisher to escape with that smoke screen, but does give some time. Focusing specifically on the Magneto, this is where the Wolverine is having their feast against the rest of their opponents. See you, Gold. We will see you later at the next spawn, because first checkpoint already taken by CSU Rams.
5.5 minutes for the Rams here. A lot of time to push it to that second point. And yeah, I mean, they don't really have an answer. Medium's not doing the best job trying to peel this Wolverine out. Obviously, being able to use that fastball special to get him in the air, to get that kidnap going is absolutely disgusting. This is a composition that the Rams have definitely practiced and played before. Even on maps where Spider-Man isn't available, Yoshi Crab has this in his back pocket. I mean, look at this. He's not even going for the Vanguards. He's just been going for the one duelist on the enemy side. I see you, Gold, are going to pop the Raging Royal Flush plus the Final Judgment, which is an absolutely deadly combo here. Hyper OG is going to pick up Man, Person, Guy, and it's going to be the first potential team fight win for CU Gold. As I say that, though, Des does run out of the ult. Hyper OG gets kidnapped! Overextending just a little bit. Probably didn't expect Yoshi Crab there. And here comes the fastball special.
It's non-stop fastball specials. They are just hurling them at the batting cage and seeing what can go through. Eternal Bond have to be used by Fit with Squeak. Clobbering time, really not doing too much.
Oh, nice
a little
kidnap.
bit more from Sea Gold on that. As you mentioned, great kidnap coming through here, but thing will stay on the objective at least for now, eventually having to back up from it. A lot of ultimates were used in that team fight, and CSU Rams are continuing to walk forward. Yoshi Crab just creating so much room for this team. And I do want to quickly take a moment to notice that Etley having to play the Phoenix because Magic and Iron Fist were their two mains before this as well. That's why they were banned out from CSU Rams when they were focusing specifically that player.
Yeah, good bans overall, definitely less effective. As I say that, though, Des is going to pick up some of the Rams members on the back end as they get out of here. And Song Inferno available along with the Meteor M. I'm expecting a combo from these two. Very, very deadly. Des does have Final Judgment available. So now it's up to Man, Person, Guy. Do you try to save it to counter, even though we most likely will expect the Raging Royal Flush here, or do you use it more offensively and not even give them the chance to use Final Judgment?
We shall see. Comes down to the timing of these ultimates. There's the Raging Royal Flush from Shmoney Schmooze. Des using the Final Judgment. Meteor M to try and counter things as well. Clobbering time, everything in the kitchen sink being thrown out from CU Gold at CSU Rams, and that will give them this team fight win. A lot of resources used, though. But the good thing for them is that CSU Rams didn't really have much available to them afterwards to keep them sustained in that team fight. They didn't really have the strategist ultimates after Shmoney Schmoves used theirs. Alec couldn't really do too much to keep things going forward. So a tough spot to be in, to say the least, for CSU Rams. And really the first hold we've seen against them.
Yeah, a couple consecutive team fight wins for CU Gold after the Rams had an explosive start, to say the least. That damage mitigation got to be especially important And now Ensong Inferno comes in. Yoshi Crab takes down medium. Alk is going to pop the Eternal Bond. Pipsqueak is going to combine it. Takes down Hyper OG. Says you are not allowed healing. I'm going to solo ult you. A massive clobbering time onto True OG or True GT and Pipsqueak here. But is that going to be enough? Hey, I'm Des does go down. Another fastball special has been queued, and he's flying at Mach speed. True GT, unfortunately, you are the beneficiary of that fastball special, as the rest of the CSU Rams are walking the cart in for point two. 5.5 minutes they had, capping it at 1.5. Not bad for CU Gold, all things considered, but now they've got 3 minutes to cap that final point.
That was a huge heads-up play from Yoshi Crab to realize that Hyper OG was the one providing the resistance from CU Gold on the front line. Not Medium hasn't been able to do as much, unfortunately. They've been diving in, providing that vulnerability AoE as they could, but not as effective as we saw Hyper OG using their diamond form just to keep the line held at the front. And as soon as they were gone, everything collapsed afterwards, and especially once True GT got kidnapped. So heads up play from Yoshi Crab, gotta give credit where it is due, but now comes down to how this next team fight goes. CU Gold, they almost have their Gambit ultimate available, so gonna come down to who uses it first.
Final Judgment available. Hyper OG with that Elim. Shmoney Shmove says, you know what? Let's push the envelope. Let's push them back just a little bit. And unfortunately for the rest of CU Gold, Man-Person Guy is absolutely feeling himself, walking with the rest of his team. The strategists on the Rams side are picking up the Elims, though, and potential last fight territory for the Rams, or for the Rams here, as Colorado CU Gold looking to exit spawn with this.
Tough spot to be in for CU Gold. Pushed all the way back. One final hold they have to make, and I feel like they used their ultimate a bit too soon. They held on to it earlier, but we do see two come through. Clobbering Time and the Ensong Inferno trying to combo that together to see if they can get enough eliminations. They get one on the back line. There's a perfect use of the last stand from Yoshi Crab. They get a shotgun to the face, so it does stop things for a moment. And unfortunately, that wasn't the best timing for the ultimate from Punisher, but they didn't have many other options. I think the problem for CU Gold there, Shibby, was that they waited too long to use their ultimates at the end of it, and unfortunately didn't have enough time, enough of a lane to get towards the objective to stop them.
I mean, they ulted pretty much out of spawn, and the Rams, whoever their shot caller is, or whoever the call was to go and say, hey, just walk away. Beautiful kiting, right? They didn't have to engage with the Gambit ultimate. They just said, you know what? We're gonna walk out. We're gonna let you waste it, and then we'll re-engage with our own tools. Obviously, Last Stand was available, Ensong Inferno came in, and Endemic has been absolutely lethal on this, thing, getting multiple huge clobbering times.
I'm just curious what the strategy is going to be here from the side of CU Gold. I see something very interesting here for the end of the CSU Rams, though. The triple, the Payne Brothers combination coming through, the Gamma Gauntlets for Endemic available with that team up now, and Thor also there as well. A bit of an unorthodox triple, but
no
I
shield.
love it.
Yeah, no shield, just three beefy dudes, their bodies on the line. I mean, Ellie and Des will probably build their ults up pretty quickly, but will it matter? I love this. The Rams have been on point with the meta so far. Their reads and what they want to run and how they want to play. I really like this.
That is a good combo, though, onto the Thor. If they can finally finish them down. No, even with the Terror Cape, it's not enough. They had to have everyone focus them, and instead, they will not create as much space as they would have liked. Good bubble onto the Thor as well as they move forward, but still trying to take as much damage away just to build up the strategist ultimates quickly for the Rams. The problem is it's one-sided gambit in favor of CU Gold, so as soon as they get that, it's going to be a big difference maker for them. So Etley having the Moon Knight ultimate. Going to come down to when they use it right in the back, so they can't even really jump into safety. Have to take an odd route away.
Nice.
Even with CSU Rams dying on the objective, did lose a lot of resources on that fight, but look at all these ultimates available to them in the next one.
CC Rams, CYA available. Una Snow has their ult as well. Yoshi Crab, does he have the monster hook? No, he's 75% away. A lot of these Vanguards don't have anything left back in the back pocket. And so Hey I'm Des and True DT can just combo this final judgment. And that's a very gutsy CYA as it's right in front of the whole team. So you have to watch as Endemic protects it with the shield. Etley has another Moon Knight ultimate cooking up in the back pocket, 80% and counting. This is the true counter to triple Vanguard, triple strategist, guys. If you watch Chibi Emo on TikTok, you would know.
Like and subscribe and follow on all platforms. Also the NECC esports socials as well. Shout out. I think they're on YouTube and on Twitch as well.
Yep.
And Twitter. That you can tune in there. But either way, Moon is going to haunt things for a second here, but also every single ultimate is being thrown out for Sea Gold. They realize that they have to get this win, but I think a couple of them were preemptive, to say the least. CSU Rams were already dead, and you were just shooting their bodies as they were respawning in the respawn room. So they move forward as much as they can. CSU Rams buying some time for the rest of their teammates. There's a bit of a composition change. Yoshi Crab on the Angela. See if they can get some kidnaps, maybe.
Yoshi, Endemic's looking for this Eye of Agamotto. You can tell he's looking for it right now. Ooh, big Eye of Agamotto into the God of Thunder! Oh my lord! Man person guy squishes Etley, but luckily Pipsqueak is able to channel the Eternal Bond here. CSU Rams, a beautiful combo, but unfortunately Strategist ultimates are just a little bit better. As I say that, though, Shmoney's moves does get rezzed. Man person takes down Hyper OG, and the Rams managed to push Gold back. Only a minute left on the clock to get it past point one.
Endemic just creating that space, and I think this was the difference that they needed. Having a shield available to them allows them to walk forward, and now nobody is available on the objective. They have to push quickly, and they are looking to see if they can rain tear from above.
He's got another Eye of Agamotto.
It's insane.
Gambit just totally busted. Man person building towards that God of Thunder, 95% and counting. There might be another combo waiting, although True GT and Hey I'm Des have the final judgment Raging Royal Flush available. This is how they're going to win this fight. 5-man Eye of Agamotto lands onto all of CU Gold. What?
This is a combo written in the history books of collegiate Marvel Rivals. Eye of Agamotto into the God of Thunder. You can do all you can to escape it, but it is inevitable. 3 seconds. We'll see if they go through the portal fast enough at the last moment to save the day. There is going to be the hand of Khonshu. Final judgment comes through from Des as well. Supercharged by the cards of Gambit, who never folds in these moments, but they have to stay on the objective, and so many members still remaining from the CSU Rams on it, trying to see if they can take out the back line. But Des is going to drop down. The Rocket Raccoon wins the 1v1. Yoshi Crab gives the Fists of Gamma to the other side, and Etley tries to bounce back. True GT drops down, and only one member really remaining from CU Gold, and it is not going to be enough for them to stay on the objective. It will tick down. Overtime is here and about to be gone. No more chances remaining for CU Gold. It will be the Rams bucking ahead.
2, 3.
What are they feeding the Rams? What are they feeding those kids, man? Because they are absolutely on one. Yeah, grass. I don't know. It's insane. Man person guy does get the MVP, but I mean, this whole team just absolutely disgusting right now.
That's what they did to the other team. Just bonked them on the head with the Thor hammer and with the Eye of Agamotto. I mean, I love that combination that we saw from them. And that was the difference maker here, right? That we got to see Endemic on that Doctor Strange. It didn't really seem to be working what they rolled out with before on the Thing. They were doing great on the Thing before then, of course, when we saw them last time on the attacking end. But the change up this go around was the move. But speaking of moves, Shmoney Schmoves moving on to that Gambit, allowing the Doctor Strange. You know, we just had to take a breather for a second. That's okay. But no, I mean, I was glazing the Eye of Agamotto a bit too much. I get it, production. That's my bad.
Prod got Aya Agamotto'd as well, and Demick managed to hit them. Absolutely insane there. I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful executed composition from the Rams. Triple, understood the assignment, portaled early, wasted more time. I thought Gold had it. When they popped the Final Judgment Rage and Royal Flush, I was like, surely they get .1. And then Des loses the 1v1 to the Rocket. And that was it. That was the final straw. I was like, oh, yeah, my bad. Never mind. They're just better. I forgot Rocket has a gun that he can shoot, and it does quite a bit of damage. Yeah, if you headshot with that thing, it's pretty disgusting.
Oh, man. Unfortunate, though, for the side of CU Boulder as the CSU Rams continue their reign of terror. This might be our quickest night here, Shibby. One more map potentially to go for CSU Rams to sweep the competition and remain undefeated to go 4-0, or will CU Boulder bounce back? We'll find out after this.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to some more NECC Marvel Rivals action. I'm still Shibby, that's still Vaudable, and we are potentially staring down a first for us on the NECC broadcast, a double 3-0 night as the CU Gold Rams, or sorry, not the Rams, CU Gold are facing off in their final map against the CSU Rams here, and the Rams have just been on fire. I mean, they have looked dominant. Domination was the closest map between these two teams. Midtown was a full sweep, and it looks like CU Gold are going to go to Old Faithful Clintar Symbiotic Surface. Shocked. Color me shocked.
Yeah, so surprised that we see a Clintar pick here as well. I mean, so many of the other maps are still good for Spider-Man 2, right? This one, not necessarily, especially in that middle area, right? Because there's nowhere you can really take people off to, and it's easier to focus down a Spider-Man player that way. But we saw that you didn't need to play Spider-Man. I mean, Wolverine's really good on this map because there's a couple different cubbies you can kind of bob and weave into. I mean, yeah, getting towards that first checkpoint or the first objective, the capture point itself, a little harder, but you know, you can go that right wing way if you want to, or you can portal directly onto the objective. I've seen a lot of teams do that first, so wouldn't be too surprised if we see a play in that fashion or not. I'm curious if we do see them go with defense this time instead of the attacking end, because CSU Rams, mind you, were the ones who were attacking first last go around, so maybe they just wanted to play a little bit of a longer series. Who knows? But this does give them a bit more of insight into the strategy from their opponents. If we don't see a Gambit ban, they're just fine to run it back. If the other team doesn't ban it, they say, hey, we got a better Gambit player. And we typically see that in other levels of competition, Shibby. It's like, if you have confidence in your Gambit player, you don't need to ban it because you know you're going to win.
Yeah, it's more, what combos do you have here? I felt like Final Judgment, Rage and Royal Flush was the answer, but they just could not execute on it consistently. There were a couple fights that were won solely based off of those two, but Des unfortunately could not get it done here. And Gold are going to ban that Groot away once again, Star-Lord being removed, and they're going to finally save the Iron Fist for Etley, who has been getting target banned pretty consistently. But in response, I'm not surprised. If for the Rams, if it ain't broke, you don't gotta fix it. I think the protects have been on point. Magic is probably still gonna get banned out here. Yeah. I don't. Now the only question is,
like, at least main. Like, I think they have like 700 games or something I saw on Magic, so you want to ban it out at that moment. Storm ban continuing. I get that. Storm's pretty solid, especially once the convoy is unlocked itself. But yeah, I do like Lindley here, seeing how the Iron Fist will be able to do some extra damage to those heavy, high hit point Vanguards on the front lines. And CSU Rams Vanguard lineup has been doing amazing work. So having some sort of counter and you don't have a Wolverine player yourself is a good way to do it. They seemed kind of confident when they pulled it out for a little bit there on the Moon Knight for CU Gold. So makes sense on that end. Magneto, I mean, if it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it for CSU Rams. Like, your ban and protect phase has worked every time. And the reason they are banning the Star-Lord, mind you, is so that they don't have to worry about Star-Lord Gambit, because that is super busted. So I get the reason why they get that out of the way immediately. Ooh, and the Punisher ban too.
I love this, taking Final Judgment out of the picture. So now you don't really have that many good combos. Phoenix being removed is nice.
Okay.
But Yoshi Crab has the ability to play Spider-Man. This is a fine Spider-Man map. I mean, Clintar, a lot of verticality.
Too.
I know there could be a Venom potentially coming into play, but I feel like they're going to run a mag thing and call it a day here as we get into the picks.
Hella.
I like this. Endemic. I think they're going to do that portal play. And Yoshi Crab, yeah, why not play Spider-Man here? It is a fine Spider-Man map, and I don't know if Des is going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, I think especially for the first point, it's a lot more open than like the second point as well. So I think using that as a focus on those duelists and the strategists on the back line is the way to do it. But yes, seeing the writing on the wall is actually, it changes it up and goes to Hella themselves. Poke is always meta, so I get the reason for it.
I smell a familiar.
Has Poke
Did get
never
a bit
not
nerfed,
been
though.
meta? Yeah. Yeah. Instead of getting rifled down by Hellas, I'm getting rifled down by Phoenixes. I love it. Thanks for the nerf. Thank you, Double G.
Which I'm
Love it.
surprised neither. Well, yeah, the Phoenix ban did come through. Excuse me. That's why
at
we
the
don't
end.
see it. And that's probably why we don't see the Wolverine either, because of how good Wolverine Phoenix is. So technically you're banning out Wolverine a little bit if you do ban Phoenix.
Cheeky little onk as the portal is going to get instantly channeled.
He has cleverness and thought.
Wonder if they're going to just do the TP on the high ground, if they're going to take a different angle. I feel like in this case, Spider-Man shouldn't. They're going to TP actually on the bottom side here, take control of that Mega. I felt like Spider-Man probably shouldn't have gone through the TP and instead attack through main, which would have allowed him to like get some sort of pincer off. But Yoshi Crab's already in there, got a nice uppercut, and we're going to look at Irithel trying to get things done. Endemic, mind you, was the one that built up those huge Doctor Strange ultimates, 5-man, 4-man ults relatively quickly here. And with Gambit being layered on top of that, it's going to be absolutely busted. The other thing we didn't mention, Vaudable, is the team-up available for Invisible Woman and Doctor Strange.
Yep. Yeah, having that extra dark magic that they can channel heals themselves and keeps them sustained even more on the front line is massive. And seeing the strategy works out pretty well. The late portal play, oh, that's going to hurt. And it's not even in a position where it can stop the convoy, so a bit wasted. They're probably not going to portal, you know, in this middle area either way. Sometimes you see it towards the last point, but maybe they thought they'd get it off in time, but unfortunately they could not. So, bit of a waste there. At least still sticking on the Doctor Strange, though, now that they have used it. So, might as well see if they go Shield Vanguard versus Shield Vanguard against each other.
Endemic has the Eye of Agamotto available. He's looking pretty aggressively right now. We'll see if it's going to get countered right now. I mean, this Vanguard line from the Rams are just pushing all of CU Gold back, and there's not really a lot they can do about it. Shmoney Shmoves, though, is going to pop the Gambit ultimate on top of the Eye of Agamotto. This time, good fade, I believe, from CU Gold. Pipsqueak specifically to get his team mostly safe there. Etley does go down, like you said, on the Moon Knight. Goddess of Death, along with the spectacular spin, is going to take Drew GT out, and he's going to take Death out as well before they can even walk into the Cloak and Dagger roll. So it's completely useless.
Visible Boundary also to slow them down and keep their team up in this fight. TSU Rams are investing everything to get the second checkpoint. They do not want to be stalled out. Huge for the Magneto to actually stop there for at least a second. Buys them some time to try and recuperate, but it is a bit of a stagger on CU Gold. Their entire front line is down, so they don't have enough to push onto this objective, and that will be the second checkpoint given to the CSU Rams. The coordination we are seeing from these players on using their ultimates, but also the timing and target acquisition is like the biggest difference here, I would say. They know who to focus on. Usually it's the front line of CU Gold, or they wait a little bit later, stagger them enough so that they can't recuperate in time to re-engage for a second team fight.
Yeah, they're a well-oiled machine at the moment. Yoshi Crab is just terrorizing this Gold backline right now.
Oh,
and
no.
Etley goes down again. He was looking for the moon, right? He was looking for the hand to Khonshu, could not drop it, and has been holding on to that ultimate for nearly the whole second point and now part of this third point. I mean, is walking them down along with Yoshi Crab.
I gotta say something here, Shibby. The problem with CU Gold I've identified now is that the Vanguards are moving too far up and they aren't peeling for the rest of their teams. Their backline gets completely decimated and they're just standing there in no man's land with no support afterwards. And it's just a tough spot to be in because then it staggers them every single time after a team fight.
Gambit never folds. It's going to be channeled by both of these members here. Shmoney Shoes was a little less on the clock here. Eye of Agamotto available. A lot of ultimates. Spectacular spin, unfortunately, does not get used. Etley takes down Yoshi Crab. And maybe we're seeing CU Gold tighten up around this last corner. What a way they have to hold, though. 4 minutes on the clock for the Rams to push it onto this final point. Surely they just stack ultimates and go in. Goddess of Death is going to be channeled here. Eye of Agamotto gets thrown in. Medium, though, does have the Meteor M to at least absorb some of this damage. Pipsqueaks does take down Endemic, and it looks like none of these Hella ultimate shots are actually going to end up in any KO. So the Rams lose their first team fight on the map here.
They got plenty of time in the bank, though, so they don't have to worry too much about it. Yes, now on the Iron Fist. We'll see if this is the difference maker for this team. Again, trying to see if they can focus on Yoshi Crab, but Pipsqueak completely vanquished. True GT it down as well, and again, unfortunately, not the Vanguards this time alive at the end of it. It's the Duelists. They still are able to get one pick, but it's not really going to do too much. So much space created for the CSU Rams. So Death really needs to get something. Going to be using their ultimate, the Living at Chi. Bubble is used on them as well, but they need to get an elimination of some sort, and Endemic still staying alive.
Nice invisible boundary from Alf to hold on to it. Not popping it immediately as the Living Chi comes in. Hyper OG is going to pop the Tonic Seduction. Gambit never folds. True GT popping it. Rage and Royal Flush. And a nice stun onto multiple members of the Rams. Edley is going to pick up one, but get taken down immediately. Traded. Still a 5v5 for both of these squads. Des takes down Alk. Irithel takes down Des, though. Another 1-for-1. But unfortunately, the Rams do have to back out.
The big stages here with this collegiate rivalry, and the CSU Rams are showing that they are the better squad, but maybe not enough to get that third checkpoint just yet. Final effort being put in by CU Gold to give them at least a chance to turn things around, reverse sweep the series. Technically, they could do it if they stopped them before the final destination here on Clintar. Potential elimination there at the last moment. Need to focus on somebody, though, as the ultimate do come through. And Demic gets one. Yoshi Crab and Shmoney Schmoves even get credited with another. Gambit team up comes through for Magneto. At least get some good damage. And Irithel does rain havoc on the back line. Great stalling, though, from Des to get this clock down even further, though.
Big slam from Man-Person Guy. Meteor M immediately counters the Cloak and Dagger ult, and a Gambit never folds. This should allow CSU Rams to pick this up, but they've all gone into spawn. Somebody pushed the cart!
Still not able to push that cart forward just enough, but eventually they are able to get it. But look at how much time was wasted by CU Gold. If they can get to the end with a bit of some wiggle room, this will be the difference maker for this squad. Only a minute remaining when they got to basically the third checkpoint with 3 minutes on the clock for the CSU Rams. So good effort defensively from CU Gold, but I think a lot of that also was helped by how close the respawn room was for them too. And maybe not the best focusing from CSU Rams on the objective plan. Instead, we're just going for padding some stats. Either way, though, Man-Person Guy without a single KO against them so far, 22-0 with 7 final hits. You can't allow that to happen for a Vanguard.
I mean, Irithel as well, only 1 death to their name. A Hela that's unkillable is absolutely lethal. And you saw how aggressive they were, right? I mean, crowing into their backline to confirm some of these KOs, that's tough. When you have a Hela on your team that's playing that confident, it feels so hard to counter them. And Yoshi Crab, you might want to put the camera on him because he's going to go for a pretty cheeky pair. And I think the CU Gold team is aware of this.
Yeah, they're ready for it. They're trying to go for their own portal play as well, so we'll see if it can come out or not out the gate. And unfortunately, CU Gold didn't really have much to stop CSU Rams portal initially. That's why they were able to capture the first point as quickly as they did. They don't know exactly where Spider-Man is yet, so waiting to see if that pull does come through, and I believe it did. I could be wrong, but no, it did not, actually. They were able to protect them in time, so the portal does come through. They did have to abort mission, and they go the high ground instead of the low ground that we saw on the side of CU Gold.
Nice pull, though, yanking them to the ground here. Medium has to be a little bit more careful. Etley on the Daredevil, looking for a target to dive. The backline has been scouted, but Yoshi Crab takes down Pipsqueak here, and that's a big strategist going down. CU Gold's portal turned into nothing as Etley watching his team go down on the backline.
Yoshi Crab looking for a pull off the edge again. Can they get it? This is a diabolical spot to just wait for them. Got called out last time. We did see it, and there's a perfect bubble this go around. A bit of a mess up on the mechanics, but hey, it happens to the best of them.
Sure, those are bad guys.
Spotlight under Yoshi Crab at the moment. I mean, he's just been terrorizing and almost goes for the long-range pull that pulls him into the enemy team. I mean, you could tell Yoshi Crab, obviously, you said, what, 1,300 matches overall, 400 in comp, 800 in quick play. I mean, this guy might just be Spider-Man himself here, Peter Parker embodied. As I say that, though,
Ooh,
Hyper OG takes down Shmoney Schmooves off the assist with Etley on the dive. Endemic takes down Des. Invisible Boundary does get used for potentially an already winning fight, so nice resource at least claimed by CU Gold, but the fight will be claimed by the Rams, and 2 minutes have already been shaved off of the time bank. Maybe 2-3 fights available if that TP comes back up.
It's so rough because the backline has barely been able to stay alive to save themselves, and that's been such a big focus from this composition of CSU Rams, is taking down them from within, back to front, essentially. And unfortunately, it has not been working in the favor of CU Gold. They haven't had an answer. They haven't had a counter. They haven't had a safeguard against them. They haven't been able to put a hand up. Maybe the Raging Royal Flush will be enough to move them forward. Spectacular Spin is available, though, and Gambit is going to be the one that takes it full throttle. And well, Death does get taken down by the front line. Yoshi Crab not actually able to get anyone.
Invisible Boundary gets used by Pippa Squeak, so we'll allow them to live just a little bit longer. No ults available on the side of the Rams, so they got to do this dry. There's going to be a fight from them as the Devil is let out, but unfortunately, it gets put back in! Take your Devil and go back to hell! Irithol says as Des is going to pop the living Chi, and finally, we might see some action. As I say that, though, Yoshi Crab gives him the spider hands, and unfortunately for CU Gold, both of their duelist ultimates get taken out.
Meteor M from Hyper OG just stay on the objective if they can, but another slaying fiesta comes through from the CSU Rams camp, and only a minute, a little less than that now, remains for CU Gold. Will they be swept by their collegiate rivals in CSU, or will Colorado University Gold be able to keep things going? We'll see. The Thing coming out large and in charge for not medium. Will that be the difference maker? I don't know, but I like to see it.
I like this swap too. It essentially buys them potentially 2 more fights because they're not channeling that portal early. They'll be able to put it into overtime. This gives CU Gold potentially the best chance. As I say that though, he's taken a crap load of damage.
Oh my
Unfortunately, we'll see if Yoshi Crab 15% and counting on that Spectacular Spin. Pippa Squeak and the rest of the gang, though, are going to take the Rams out. What a nice final push. Des takes down multiple members, and CU Gold keep their dreams alive. But only 2 minutes is going to be added, 2.5 actually on the clock here, and they've got to push it onto point 2 with not a lot of time available.
Huge change up the vulnerability. Also, I think that was enacted on Yoshi Crab at the end there too, so allowed Des to get that easy elimination against them, and they were able to clean up the rest of the competition against CSU Rams. But will it be enough? The backline still being terrorized by Yoshi Crab. They have their ultimate available to them, and they are going to use it, but the force physics actually pushes them away, and Earthbound keeps them in place, so they can't even escape.
Yoshi Crab in a series of unfortunate events, although it doesn't really matter. CU Gold still lose 2 members. Yoshi Crab will be back in this fight lickety-split, and the Rams are going to walk Colorado University Gold down here and keep them tucked back into their spawn.
Solid look from them. Irithol keeps them at bay. Has the Goddess of Death available whenever they need it. They've been using that in tandem with the Raging Royal Flush, which I've liked. You know, it has the extra damage, the extra ult charge that you can get afterwards. You want to proc it as quickly as you can and then use it. But we'll see them just use it themselves. Gets an easy elimination. Nothing to count them because they have 3 rain invisibility of everyone in front of them. So 2 members, 3 drop down, and 1 potential last team fight, maybe 2 for CU Gold here.
Endemic popped the clobbering time just to keep him in place for Irithol. Don't know if I necessarily agree with it. Probably didn't need it, but I like the insurance. Yeah.
Look at all the ultimates,
Spectacular Spin. Yeah, 6 ults all available for CU Gold. Looks like Shmoney is going to pop their own, though. Raging Royal Flush does get thrown down. Etley has picked up Man Person Guy. Hyper OG takes down Endemic. Alec goes down, burning the invisible boundary. I mean, the fight was lost virtually. I feel like you've wasted enough of their time. But they're going to take this next team fight with not too much in the bank. Actually, Vaudable, sorry, nothing in the bank. Yoshi Crab, the closest to their ultimate, but can be countered by Pippa Squeak with the invisible boundary. A rare misplay from the CSU Rams here.
a difference from the Division 2 series into this one. CU Gold actually doing a lot better job of timing when to use their ultimates, only using half of them to win at that team fight and saving the rest of them for when they need them. So we'll see if any more come up through here in mere moments. Spectacular Spin does manage to get the entire back line of CU Gold. Nobody stays alive to keep on the point for now, and it looks like it will be a dish served cold against CU Gold. CSU Rams only need one final elimination to take this 3-0 sweep. Can they get rid of the Iron Fist? Yes, they can. Etley drops down, and the CSU Rams sweep the series in Colorado.
2 3-0s for the night. 2 undefeated teams, both 3-0, but the Rams are going to walk away with the win here, and 4-0 as they push themselves. Man, person, guy getting the MVP on the Magneto. Absolutely disgusting. I would have thought it might have gone to Irithel or even, Yoshi Crab, but hey, 40 and 2. Yeah, pretty disgusting stat line there.
Kept the back line alive so long, and I think that's a big thing of it, right? I mean, took so much damage for
12
their team.
finals.
31,000 damage blocked is insane, but yeah, those 12 finals. I mean, 4 members having double-digit final hits is insane. Des did everything that they could, of course, on their side, but unfortunately, we did see a bit of a swap in terms of composition, seeing if the Rocket Raccoon at the end could work out there to get into the point in time, but some good looks here and there from both teams. I think CSU Rams kind of had the other team read a bit in terms of composition. They went for basically the same ban and protects every time. If you are losing against a Gambit composition, you need to ban Gambit. That's the moral of the story here, Shibby. I think we can all go home with is if you are losing against a team that is playing Gambit better than you are, do not let them play Gambit. That's all I got to say.
I don't know if Gambit would have been the difference maker if it was banned or not
Spider-Man
banned.
definitely,
Rams,
but I will say, like, Gambit enables you to get your ultimate that much faster, and cleanses as well. So it really eliminates a lot of the opportunities that we saw from them. So gave them all of the breathing room that they needed to move forward and not worry too much. And the back line also getting vanquished as quickly as they were every time that we saw by Spidey Crab, as I like to dub him now, as well. But yeah, I mean, seeing the way that Yoshi Crab was able to just every single time target the back line, they could not stay alive. I feel so bad for Pippa Squeaks because they had to see the respawn room probably more than they saw the actual convoy, that map, it felt like.
Yeah, and they ended up going down with Invisible Boundary there. I thought that was going to be the difference maker. Yoshi Crab's going to have ultimate, but it doesn't matter because Pippa-Squeak has Invisible Boundary. The moment they hear, the spectacular spin, they can instantly pop it. But unfortunately, they aren't on the reaction time. They're not there. They get taken down, like you said, pretty much immediately. And so they end up going down. CU Gold goes down in that fight with 2 ultimates available. They had 3. They did a really good job not over-investing their ultimates to win that initial fight. But, the ugly head of being gun-shy rears its head once again. And unfortunately, the Rams, they were just on point. Right? For, I would say, 90% of the series, they felt like a well-oiled machine. They had some uncharacteristic mistakes here and there, right? Alec using the invisible boundary probably when they didn't need it. Endemic popping the Thing ultimate, the clobbering time when the fight was already won. Stuff like that is small, but I can see a good reason as to why this team is, 4-0 and why they went undefeated. Kind of crazy that we had 2 undefeated teams for the night vaudable, and both of them ended in stomps.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to the flexibility of compositions, right? Like knowing that you can play a couple of different things and can't be banned out as easily. Knowing the specific people to focus on in terms of the bans and protects, right? We saw a lot of focus on duelist lineup. That seemed to be really strong from the other side, but unfortunately didn't work for them. We have a couple more games that being streamed, not for Marvel Rivals, but other titles happening this week as well. CS2 and Rocket League tomorrow, League of Legends on Thursdays, and Overwatch without the 2 on Friday as well. I had to put that in there. I'm sorry, Shibby. A little corny. But yeah, it's been a good time here, Shibby. Any final thoughts from you as we send things off for the evening?
A lot of good games, a lot more action entailing for the next couple of weeks. I think I'm actually off next week. I don't think you'll see me here, right? Unless Keg decides to, potentially get called up for another acting gig or another roll call or something like that. But
booked and busy.
I don't
Love to hear it.
I don't think you'll see me and Vaudable on for next week. It will be Keg and CB if everything
going to be available.
or according to plan. And yeah, they're going to get to cast Elsa. I cannot imagine what some of these guys, these collegiate players, have been cooking up. But like you said, Vulnerable, it's been an amazing time. I've had a great, day specifically with the 3-0s. Par our
matches.
usual course. 10-game series. We get a nice little 6-game banger today, and I really enjoyed it. So from us, from NECC, from everybody behind the glass and in chat, thank you so much. But I hope you guys enjoy a great rest of your night, as there's some more NECC action later this week.